It's cool.
Don't jinx it.
Never worked perfectly. And we're
Alright.
live. Alright, you guys, welcome to the November 1st edition of the Gamergate Community Livestream. I can't read a calendar. We're talking tonight, this is going to be a 2-hour stream, give or take. We're talking tonight about some Gamergate-specific issues. We're also going to be talking about our favorite horror games. I have here with me Skull Kid, which is Emmanuel. I have Lisa with the My Little Pony avatar. I have Intransigent from Twitter. I have Jesus Christa for Felix with the other My Little Pony avatar. And I have Cassie with the Home Movies avatar. They are my co-hosts. And we're going to talk about some shit. First on the agenda...
Sounds good.
Hey! First on the agenda, I guess, if I can find my list here. I'm poorly organized, but there is a
You
sort
have
of
a list this time, so I can't really complain.
Wasn't the Anita on Colbert thing?
Yeah, it is. I got it up. It's kind of a big thing, you know. Last one on this channel was a week ago, last Saturday, I believe, or Sunday. I don't know. I can't fucking remember. But it was, a lot has happened since then. We had just the other night. It was just the other night. We had Anita Sarkeesian on the Stephen Colbert show. A lot of you guys probably saw this. A lot of us we're probably fans of Colbert. I still am. It was an interesting interview. There's claims that it's been edited. Regardless, I personally think that she did pretty poorly. I mean, that's Name 3 Games, the hashtag that got spawned out of that. I'm a big fan of that. Thunderfoot has already put up a video kind of mocking that whole interview. I think there's a couple others as well. I don't know. What do you all think of it? What have you guys? What were your opinions and whatnot?
One thing I want to state first and foremost, and this is something I've noticed people seem to be forgetting, Colbert is a comedian. So I think especially with stuff like this and his questions, I think it's good to kind of try to keep that at least in the back of your mind. He's a comedian. He's trying to get people to laugh. But I will say the Name 3 Games thing, Colbert, I love you, but the Name 3 Games thing had me laughing harder than anything I have seen on your show in the past 2 years.
I just found that so funny too. It's like you talk about how it's so much and so big, but you can't even name 3 big titles so people can start looking into it themselves. Good.
Yeah, I mean, she's made... I've heard people on Kotaku in Action, in fact, one person in a thread that I was involved in was very vehemently defending her, saying, well, I disagree with her ideas, but, she was under pressure with the hot lights and the cameras. And my response to that is, she's been under hot lights and cameras for the past 2 years promoting these ideals, which she got her master's degree based on, did her thesis on in college. She should be able to name at least some of the central examples of misogyny that she's promoting exists and is prevalent in video games. I mean, even if she forgot, the show, earlier in the show, they mentioned 3 or 4 games that are commonly regarded as misogynist.
Doesn't she...
I don't think there's any excuse for not being able to talk about specific examples of games. And it's very reminiscent. What's up?
You know why I think though? That she probably thought that she was gonna be exposed because a lot of the people are pretty much against her right now. So if she were to say like some of the game examples, I think she probably thought it would have been like a bad idea, for her.
I have to disagree with that, honestly. I mean, recently she's made a career out of talking about these games and has been specifically naming them and showing footage. Why would now be any different if she's really trying to promote herself like that?
I was going to say, didn't she make a very good living making videos
Only
out of
based on-
criticizing these things, and for her to sit on national television and not be able to mention 3 is pretty weak.
Well,
It's very reminiscent to me.
It's like more available to like more people,
Mm-hmm.
So is YouTube.
And I think Emmanuel has a good point in that the Colbert audience is a very young, liberal audience. A lot of them play video games, and if she were to mention specific video games that a lot of the audience liked, it may have turned them off. So if by avoiding that question, she's able to keep her vague points intact, her sort of nebulous cloud of these are misogynist, without having to pin anything down specifically wherein there's a specific example that people will look at and say, no, that's fucking retarded.
So,
So it may have been a tactical move, but it was. I'm sorry, Intrinsic. I'll let you speak in a second. Very reminiscent of me. That was Name 3 Games thing to, and I said this to Lisa when I was watching Colbert live, like when it happened. Very reminiscent of Sarah Palin's newspaper incident. You know, where she was asked what newspapers she read after she was railing on the liberal media, and she's like, "Well, I read so many," and it's like, "Well, tell me some of the newspapers or magazines that you read, some of the sources you get your news from," and she couldn't name shit. It was very much.
He seemed so happy when I told him that Thunderfoot actually made fun of that in a video.
I was quite happy because I wanted Lisa. I don't have video editing skills, but I wanted Lisa to put together something with those 2 clips. What do you want to say, Intransigent?
I was going to say, from a perspective of someone that doesn't watch Colbert a lot, not being from the United States myself, I actually had to go back and look at other episodes to see whether that was a normal reaction from an audience, because it seemed on first glance like there was a disproportionate number of very vocal supporters of hers in that audience. It seemed to me that they were cheering and hooting about issues that you would really only get that worked up about if you were from her kind of little lobby group.
Well, as far as the tickets to the Colbert show, they are given at random far in advance of the show before the guests are even announced. So it's unlikely that a lot of Anita supporters could have been like intentionally placed there. There may have been a lot of people that really like her feminist frequency stuff, like her SJW kind of video games or misogynist thing. Could have just been they saw a relatively cute girl on the show and she's saying things about how, you know, you can all be feminists and you know, why what was it, the thing that got a pause was, why can't the damsel save herself? Like, that's kind of a feel good kind of like very like, if I knew nothing about Gamergate and didn't play video games and didn't know that all that shit was bullshit, and I was in that crowd, I would probably cheer for that as well, just because it's like, you know, yeah, that's great, but it's bullshit and it's a stupid narrative that falls apart real quick upon any sort of close inspection.
Yeah,
well,
I guess
the thing about her saying why can't the damsel save herself, it's well, just start making games like that. If it's a good game, then people will gravitate towards that. But they don't propose any work to be done. It's just like, oh well, why can't she save herself? But I'm not gonna start working on a game to make that happen.
Yeah,
basically.
And then
sorry. I was just going to say, you know, the people who make these games, they pay attention to trends. The big reason that FPS games are why there are so many of these coming out, well, Black Ops happened.
Mm.
And,
from the publishing aspect, you know, that kind of bothers me too. From the publishing aspect, they should pay attention to the trends. They're in the business of making the game sell as much as possible, so they should be interested in making sure they're going to make the most profit, and so people continue making games that are liked. But I very strongly feel 2 parts of this. I mean, people should make whatever art they feel compelled to make, and if they're doing that, just if they're making something just to make money, just to appeal to a certain market, then sure, make it for that certain market. That's just as valid a form of creative expression as any other. But such a big thing to me is the art should be put out there for the sake of what it is. You shouldn't be trying to pigeonhole things or you know, we need to, like I was talking about before the stream started about affirmative action, you know, where it's like we need to put a gay character in this so we get gay people to like this more. Like no, you put out something that's a compelling story or that's interesting creatively to you, that fulfills your creative vision. Don't start trying to modify it because of what specific groups of people want. Just make what you make and put it out there.
Yeah, as I said before, that just because you put a gay guy inside a game, I'm not automatically gonna connect with him, like, you know, sympathetically understand him as a character just because he and I share something It's
Yeah, 'cause
not
you know
like
what?
that.
The sexuality's not
Because
fucking important.
No,
Exactly.
nothing like that is important because even if it was with a woman, just because the character is a woman, you don't automatically connect to her because you're a woman. It has to be more than just that, and they focus on all the wrong things.
I mean, the thing is, a year ago, Anita Sarkeesian posted this video, and it was a game idea she had. Now, I'm not gonna lie. If she made this game and released it, I'd play it. I would. It seems like a Legend of Zelda type thing, but a princess gets herself out of a situation and then kicks major ass. I'm sorry, that sounded like a good idea to me. I would have played it.
Yeah,
And
so
I
I think that
would
actually, if you made that
Sounds like the
game,
Tomb Raider remake.
huh?
Yeah.
Sounds like the Tomb Raider remake.
Kinda, but I mean, if she actually went and tried to say, hey, here's what I think a good game could be.
She would
And
have more
actually went and
credibility
made
if she
it?
actually did it.
Exactly. I would take her a little bit more seriously. I would play the game. Even if it sucked, I'd still at least give it a chance.
Yeah,
She'd have
because-
more credibility. Now, there's a good point, a good counterpoint there, which piggybacking on what you said, Cassie, fuck. She would have more credibility for sure if she created something herself. But critics, what a critic says, and she is fundamentally a critic. She's a critic for entirely the wrong reasons, and her criticism, in my opinion, is pretty much invalid. But it's kind of bullshit to in general to say, like, you know, people can't criticize and have valid criticism if they're not willing to make something themselves. Not every person who reviews a movie has to be able to make their own movie to have a valid opinion on the movie, you know?
Fair enough, fair
That's
enough.
not what I'm saying.
I
I'm
want to
saying
jump
that,
in
like,
for like a second.
how she's always saying that is like there should be more games where there's a girl kicking ass and she should be the main character. You can be able to play her, nothing bad happens to her, whatever. And if she actually went through and made a game like that, people would trust her more, and I would actually trust her more and actually have a little bit more belief in what she says. But she doesn't. She just sits there and ignores everything people say, and she just censors everything to ignore to make it like, oh, I didn't hear what you said, so I can't acknowledge the thing you want me to do. That's exactly what she's doing.
Only like once or twice has she ever responded publicly to any criticism of tropes versus women videos.
The thing
They
is,
never. It's a policy at this point.
Here's the thing with her. She doesn't care about gamers in general. She's just there to ruin it for everyone. So
No, she's doing it for money. Let's be honest here. She's doing it because she knows that she can get some money out of this.
it's
I don't think
money.
so. I think that she's genuine about it. I mean, she's devoted her entire life, at least her college life, to feminism issues. Like I said, she did her thesis. She spent her entire, I don't know, maybe not her entire,
Isn't it plain why she has a straight white cis dude writing all her episodes?
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
Well, that's a
boy.
speculation, at least. I don't know if we know that for sure. But
She has point blank said that. I can't remember where exactly,
it's
but she has
Macintosh, right?
explicitly said it.
Macintosh is the
Yeah,
one.
He's the
full
puppet master.
Macintosh. It's full Macintosh.
she's just like a big whiner, you guys. Like seriously.
Pretty much.
Like
We're gonna
she
have two people
complains
joining.
about games that have like a powerful male protagonist, but she completely ignores the fact that there's also strong female protagonists and just bashes on the male protagonist, which is pretty sexist to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Repsicon, he went, in a video I watched of him, he went through like every game that he could possibly name with a strong female protagonist or
Oh, I know the video.
character. And like, I can name a lot of them. Like, who cares if they're not playable? Like, they're still strong and encouraging to young girls if they saw someone kicking ass, even though you can't play them. It's like a role model.
Yeah, like I've seen a couple of girls use male characters and they don't complain. They don't see it as oppression.
There are a lot
don't.
of good male characters.
There'll come a point at which she either has to get with kind of back up the things she's saying and produce a decent game, but I have this sense that if there were enough people that agreed with her, these AAA gaming studios would already be producing more games along that kind of niche.
That's a very
Like-
good point.
like Tomb Raider, I think any game she came up with at this point on her own, I would suspect of being purely there to portray women as a protagonist, as a token gesture, because, oh look, it's a woman as a protagonist, rather than it being an incidental feature of the plot like Lara Croft is.
Oh yeah.
Or Amanda Ripley in the new Alien game.
Yeah.
The fact
Exactly.
that she is the daughter of Ellen is such a big fucking thing in the whole.
I mean, it should be a component of the plot and not the central theme.
Exactly.
Which seems to be what a lot of these indie games developers that are coming up with these kind of women protagonist roles are. It's a statement about the fact that there aren't enough of them, rather than a decent game.
Affirmative action.
Exactly, it's affirmative action in game plots, and that to me is not going to make a decent story, and that's only going to damage.
I personally don't care
issue.
what gender the main character is. If it's fun, if it has a good storyline, and I can get into it, that's all that matters to me.
And that
Thank
should be
you,
the
guys.
case.
That shit is unfair.
Hey,
I would
real quick,
rather-
guys.
Okay.
I want to welcome our 2 new people in the chat, and we have 1 more who might be coming. We got Victor with looks like the only person with an actual webcam turned on, and we have Will, whose head was in his webcam just a second ago, but he turned it off. Now I have an upside down turkey or something.
It's a vulture.
Hey, guys.
It's a vulture cap.
Hey, what is it?
Oh,
It's a vulture. It's a vulture cap.
Right on.
I bought
How y'all doing?
it. I bought it for Spencer's. Oh, this is,
All right,
by the
so-
way, this is my sorry guys. This is my first Google Hangout, by the way.
Same. Don't
Right
worry
on.
about it.
It's my, what, like 4th, 5th, something like that?
Oh, okay.
So we're not, I don't think any of us are really pros at this shit here, so
No.
we're all learning, we're all having fun, we're all talking.
My first hosting one was last night, so
Topic is tentatively, I don't know, we're on gaming in general or something, but it was Anita Sarkeesian on the Colbert Show. And hey, y'all, feel free to, by feel free, I mean please pimp this link out fucking anywhere, the view link, which is,
That video. Oh shit.
I'm sending it here. It's in the group chat. And actually, I'm also gonna, for you guys that just joined, I'm gonna send the link to the notes that I typed up, so you all can check that out. Those are kind of what we're going to be talking about, maybe. We're going to attempt to talk about. What the hell is happening?
Yeah, someone was.
Victor, you got a lot of noise on your line, man.
I do? Oh?
Yeah, you sound fine. It's just it looks like it was you because you're the only person who I see green bars on, but
Okay.
a lot of static.
I don't know, I just took the microphone a bit away from my face.
It's not the volume of your voice, although your voice did just cut out there.
God damn it.
You're good. It comes and goes like this white noise static kind of shit that comes and goes.
Yeah, okay. I have no idea. I haven't changed anything from the other times we've been doing this.
I don't know, man. It should be alright. I'll mute you if I need to, if it gets too bad.
Let's say that.
Christ. Alright, so... what do y'all... Victor and Will, what do you guys think about Anita Sarkeesian on the Colbert Report?
I think that Colbert is a comedian. And he had to do a comedic spin on it, and I don't really take anything he said seriously. As I said on Facebook, I felt that Anita just said the same thing that she always says, and the thing is that women in gaming are all damsels in distress, and if they are not, then they are sex symbol. It's as simple as that to her, which is just stupid. And actually, I think this is the first time I really see Anita speaking. And what scared me the most is that she actually really believes this, and no one will ever be able to convince her otherwise. Yeah. So I think I've said it before somewhere. Probably haven't seen it because that's not important. But we can't fight this war with the feminists. Neither side will change. So it will just keep going on and on forever.
I disagree.
Okay. How would you see a resolution between the feminists and the gamers?
I don't see so much of a resolution, but I do see the influence of feminists, of the third wave feminists, SJW types in particular. I see that vastly decreasing because the more exposure they get, the more people realize that a lot of them are nuts, and the more exposure they get, the more insane they get. I've seen multiple posts on Kotaku in Action and
trip, essentially, like they are like,
sure.
oh, I was on national television. Checkmate, gamers. That means we win.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. Every time I see Brianna Wu, she just looks a little bit more.
She looks so unstable.
Yes, she does.
She's like a 40-year-old woman who's going through her midlife crisis and major
ignoring that, and again, it's not about the people so much as it is about the ideas. But as a sort of general thing, stepping back from the aspect of specific anti-Gamergate people being fucking batshit insane, we know that a few of them are for sure. I mean, there's a reason that Full Macintosh was created as a hashtag. Stepping back from that, something I said on, I think it was probably the first or second stream that I did, and something I've said in the Gamergate group, and I've never heard an answer other than what I expect, which is, you know, you see a lot of people going from anti-Gamergate or from neutral to pro-Gamergate. You don't seem to see anyone going, I've never seen, and I've never found anyone else that has seen, maybe one of you guys have, someone going from pro-Gamergate to anti-Gamergate. It just doesn't seem to happen.
Yeah, but the thing is, what I meant before is that, the masses will probably flock to Gamergate at some point. But that will take a long, long time. And there are many people out there who are anti-GG, and especially the big names like Anita and all the other Who's, little Who's, and they are the ones setting the narrative, and they will never change their opinion.
See, here's the thing, and we were talking about this before the stream started. They're starting to turn on each other.
Yeah, it's all about who's the biggest victim.
Do you know what it reminds me of?
What's that?
Liquid and Lakizian, the Three Stooges. Oh, last guy.
Is it?
Go ahead.
Is it maybe helpful to define what we think is the direction of Gamergate at this point? Because we've done what Gamergate is falling for time and time again, which is assuming that Anita Sarkeesian actually forms part of this debate at all, and she doesn't. If you look at Gamergate in terms of its defined objective, which is to talk about ethics in games journalism, then Anita Sarkeesian doesn't even factor. She's irrelevant. But what she does manage to do is to hijack the entire Gamergate controversy for her own political narrative, and we all keep falling for it by generating all of this activity and attention for her without really, and implicitly in doing so, accepting some of the premises on which she's arguing without really challenging why she's getting up and talking on our behalf, whether that be pro or against us at all.
I disagree. I disagree because, and Total Biscuit put it really well in the David Packman interview he did, which is there's, and I'll paraphrase and kind of put it in my own words, Gamergate is a hashtag. It's a movement, but it's a hashtag. There's no membership requirements, and there's thousands of us at the least. I mean, we're at, like 18,000 in Kotaku in Action, and there's at least a dozen or so thousand more.
That's not even counting the people who just go and look at stuff and not sign up, like me.
Right. And so with that, every person has a different perspective, a different thing that they're bringing to the table. There's a lot of different ideas as to what Gamergate actually is. For some people, it's purely about ethics and journalism. For some people, it's about being marginalized and feeling like the media that talks about the games that they love is shitting on them for loving the games they love. For some people, it's purely about SJWs and the influence of feminism in third wave feminism in gaming. And all of those are valid opinions. It's just like anonymous. Anyone who posts online and does anything under the banner of anonymous is anonymous. And it's no one can tell someone that, well, you're not really part of Gamergate. Gamergate is about specifically this and only this, because for different people who are participating, it's about different things. And we have a certain general direction that we're moving. We're sort of hive mind, like so many things on the internet, like so much of society. We're sort of superorganism. We're all doing our own individual thing, but we're moving a particular direction.
I'm starting to see that, but what about the people who try to post harassment in our name?
You know what? That's just as valid. I mean, they may be Gamergate supporters, but they don't speak for everyone. We don't have any leaders. We are a completely decentralized movement. We have certain people who have rose to prominence, people that a lot of us like to pay attention to, but they don't speak for everyone either. Everyone, you are responsible for your own actions and your own actions alone. You can't hold an entire group accountable, whether it's pro-Gamergate, anti-Gamergate, or liberals or conservatives or anything. You can't hold an entire group accountable for the actions of individuals. If I'm a shitty person, I'm a shitty person because I'm a shitty person. It has nothing to do with Gamergate. It has nothing to do with left libertarians. It has nothing to do with fucking people with long hair or whatever.
Well, except if a left libertarian is the one that's being interviewed on national television.
Yeah.
The tone at which Gamergate is interacted by the non-Gamergate community on the internet is going to be dictated by whichever ones rise, as you say, to prominence and get those slots on the media.
To an extent, sure, but the people that care about it are going to look into it, and more often than not, these people. That's why I said earlier, the anti-Gamergate people, the more exposure they get, the better it is for us, because they're kind of like the saying that no publicity is bad publicity. They're shooting themselves in the foot because their ideas don't hold water. The things that they are saying are fucking nuts most of the time.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
And we're going to talk about this in a little bit, but like on the David Pakman show, where Brianna Wu goes on, she's asked a couple of basic questions that to her were kind of tough questions, like, how do you know that those threats were from Gamergate supporters? And she flips her shit, and then afterwards on Twitter, she's like, that was a fucking hit piece. And now pro-Gamergate people are fine with going on David Pakman show. David Pakman, base Wakka, is totally fucking impartial, neutral. He has hard questions of everybody. He asked Milo about the articles about transgenderism that he wrote. He has Total Biscuit about his personal ethical stance and any instances where he may have been asked to violate his personal ethical stance, which that interview went fucking awesomely, I thought.
Oh, yes, it did.
Oh, yeah.
But now all the anti-Gamergate people are, for him just asking to get their opinion in an honest interview, but one where they won't be coddled, where they won't be hug-boxed, they will be actually asked fucking questions, they can't handle it because their worldview doesn't stand up to any genuine questioning, any sort of criticism, any sort of debate. That's why Anita Sarkeesian hasn't ever gone and publicly responded to any of her criticism, because it all falls apart. As soon as you encounter something that is not pre-built into their hug box narrative, they can't handle it.
And another thing about... Oh, sorry. I just want to say another thing about David Pakman is that he's dealt with crazies on the show before. My favorite video from him was he was interviewing Shirley Phelps-Roper from the Westboro Baptist Church, as well as a member of Anonymous. And in the middle, Anonymous hacked the site in the middle of the interview. I cannot actually watch it because her smile freaks me out to no end. It's just one of the creepiest things I've ever seen, and she wears it throughout the entire video. But he's dealt with people crazier than the ones he's been interviewing. So he knows how to handle it. And I think it was that, not only was he practicing legit journalism there, he was asking some tough questions, but he kept a cool head about the whole thing. And the fact that this was someone who wasn't falling over themselves to coddle her, I think, kind of freaked her out.
Well, that's why they are starting to claim themselves to be the most oppressed, and then yeah, it's all leading to it's gonna be kind of a civil war soon, I think.
Right, I want to add to that. I think Anita was kind of uncomfortable during the whole interview thing as well, because she knows clearly that she's a liar, and that a lot of people see her as a liar.
Well, yeah, that's because she's a pathological liar and she's a con artist. I mean, you could just tell by her body language that she felt like she was being attacked and that she couldn't really do anything because she put herself in that position by accepting the interview. She should have realized that Colbert would be that kind of way and ask like questions that he asked, and she completely was like, oh, it'll probably just be my soapbox so I can come up and say, oh, feminism is good, Gamergate is bad. You guys should be totally against Gamergate because it's not about journalistic ethics, it's about gender war. That's what it is about.
No,
I gotta be honest.
I actually say here, I think it's said about, now I'm an atheist, but, so I have the saying, God is real in the minds of the people that believe in it. In the hardcore believers, he is actually real. And I feel it's the same with this. This is not real. It's all lies she is telling. But in her mind, it is real. And
yeah, like a crazy person.
She believes this to be real. I didn't feel her to be very nervous on the Colbert show. Because she believes this lie is real.
I don't think she actually believes it. That's why she's so nervous, because she feels like, oh, my bullshit is getting called out, and I'm gonna lose.
Yeah.
That's exactly what she's doing, because she can always fall back on, I'm a victim. Okay,
Yep.
so like she's like, these gamers are attacking me, and obviously Colbert is one of them. She can always say that, because if the interview went bad or good, she would either praise him for letting her go up on her soapbox, or she's gonna be upset because he asked questions that she didn't want to answer because she didn't want to acknowledge that there was something else going on.
Plus, wasn't she
just like the Pac-Man show with Biana Wu? She says if she gets asked questions she doesn't like, it's a hit piece. If she's asked questions she does like, then it's the truth. No, go ahead and say what you want. Yeah, sorry.
Well, yeah, well, that's the whole thing with Milo, is that, like, that he emailed her questions, and she was like, she nitpicked, and she picked the ones that she didn't feel comfortable with, and he even admitted in the David Pakman interview that it's not normally practiced to send your interviewee your questions, but he did to make her feel comfortable, and she totally fucking blew him off because she realized, oh, this isn't my soapbox, no one's gonna give me attention, this is gonna be an actual interview.
And as he also discussed with Pac-Man, this was not something that happened to them with every interview they had. It was, it was not normal to go through the questions like that. Anyway, Jesus, I think you wanted to say something before, and I kind of have the screen time. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Yes. Hello? Can you guys hear me?
What?
What?
Can you guys hear me? Hello?
You kind of disappeared there.
Yeah.
You're in and out.
I've been just listening in. You know what kind of scares me the most though? It's like whenever they get a chance speaker now, you know, they expect everyone to believe them. But yet, whenever people challenge them, they're like, "Oh, really? Then why don't you fucking believe me?" And I don't know how to explain that.
You're kind of falling out.
Yeah.
We got the message, but didn't hear the last part you said.
Fundamentally, it's an act of mental evasion. What they've convinced themselves that they are the victims, and with most illusions, the more you expose the fallacy for what it is, and the more they get this kind of media exposure, the more they'll be subjected to this criticism, and the more they'll retreat back into the comfort, the blanket of, well, I'm the victim and you're all just persecuting me by vilifying me and by pointing out where my logic is faulty. It's a self-sustaining thing. They're never going to be convinced.
Criticize them about their beliefs, and then they pull the whole "I have the right to think whatever I want," but then they go here and they's like, "You guys need to change this and this and this because I don't like it."
Yeah, I'm honestly
it's so hypocritical that it kind of pisses me off to the point where I just want to break my computer.
I'm honestly surprised Anita even went on in the first place, considering the whole cancel culture thing.
What's crazy is that these guys will just keep bringing these three women up, like, oh, Gamergate is about harassment about women in the gaming industry, to three people that I don't fucking know. What the hell, man? I mean, like, and then the mainstream media just takes it for what it is, and it scares me the most. And then you got these people here who say that like gamers are a bunch of straight white men. Like, hello, wait, I'm Spanish and I like video games. I'm pretty sure your argument is out there.
Yeah, I think the mainstream media is only choosing the sides of the SJWs because it's what's gonna get them the most attention, the most views, and the most money. Like, because headlines, all about headlines.
Well, actually, I don't think that's entirely true. And why is because Based Mom was on MSNBC, as far as I know, and came with a bit of her side of the story. The thing they want to emphasize is the feminist part of this, and
you're right. Hey.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah. It's not really that we should all be anti-Gamergate, but we should. The only thing they want to discuss is the misogyny, because that is going to bring in a lot more viewers than talking about the games journalism.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. I mean, the interview
themselves, and no one knows why.
The interviewer kept bringing it back to misogyny, kept bringing it back to women, and no matter how many times Based Mom tried to go, no, that's not what this is about. It's about there's issues in the gaming media, and he would go, well, but what about the misogyny? So yeah, I'm with Victor on this one, actually.
Let's be really clear. Anita Sarkeesian is not a feminist. Anita Sarkeesian is using feminism as a badge to hide behind because she knows that, number one, it's quite trendy nowadays to call yourself a feminist, and number two, no one in their right mind argues against feminism. But what she's not representing is feminism in any way, shape, or form, which is exactly what Based Mom goes on to demonstrate.
I know a lot of people.
Christina Hoff Sommers is the best feminist ever, according to me. It's like she's on the top. She just takes the fucking crown.
Yeah, Based Mom is best feminist.
There are good feminists, and I feel bad for the ones that actually are fighting for equal rights, while these first world women are like, oh, I'm getting catcalled on the street. This is worse than being murdered for wanting to leave my abusive relationship.
Apparently, someone tried Based Mom for some reason. Is that true?
I think we need to hear it again. You kinda that was trouble with your mic in the beginning. So say it again.
I'm sorry. Is it working right now?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Apparently, someone threatened Christina Summers. Is that true?
Yes,
I saw tweets of that, I think. So,
there have been a lot of threats going on. Wait, I can probably get it up. Let me hold on.
Wasn't that Bobby?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was.
It was just like.
Some guy by the username. I'm sorry. Some guy by the username Bobby1967 or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was something about like, oh, maybe you should change your stance on Gamergate or something bad might happen to you. Like, that's essentially what he said. And she was like, did you really just threaten me? It's like, I thought you guys were all against the threatening and that you guys are so peaceful and all you want to do is raise awareness for misogyny in video games. But no, here you are, your supporters, the people who support the, I don't know, the Anita and them, they're just like, oh yeah, you're gonna get hurt if you keep supporting Gamergate, not what feminism actually stands for, as if they know what feminism actually stands for, because we're all misandrous, basically.
And yet we're still the harassers.
Yeah, we're the bad people because we're donating to charity, and then you guys don't want us to donate to charity. You're telling these charities, don't accept the money from them because they're bullies. Are you really telling someone to not take money for their charity because these people are bad?
And heck, it actually worked with, slightly off topic, I don't know if you guys have heard about the fappening, but it actually worked with that. Yes, I know. They donated a crap ton of money towards colon cancer, and they were bullied into sending the money back.
Yeah, I heard about that.
The general attitude in the happening thing from the social justice warriors it was just crazy, because like a few months before that, the Cole Sprouse, you know, the Disney twin twin guys.
His nudes got released.
Yeah, and they all just shared them like crazy and just.
Wait, what? Whose nudes got released?
Like,
what are we talking about?
Dylan Sprouse's nudes, like
yeah.
His dick pics got released, and like, you know, sites like HuffPost, and they were spreading it around, like, come look at his penis, come look at his penis. But when these women get their bodies exposed, they're like, don't look at these are bad. This is bad. You shouldn't look at these women's bodies because they're being oppressed and they're being.
Yeah, there was a great picture around the time of the fappening, before even any of the Kotaku and Action stuff started. Whereas Gawker Media on Men, and they're talking about how, like, they released Hulk Hogan's sex tape, and they were like, you know, yeah, we're gonna watch this, and it's funny, and blah blah blah. And then they're talking about Jennifer Lawrence's nudes, and it's like, oh, this is terrible, and no one should watch it. Like, how fucking hypocritical can you be?
They still posted some of those nudes, though. They didn't post Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, I know.
They posted
And on a marginally related topic that's more game related. Fucking.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, dude.
Oh, all right, perfect.
All right.
Actually, now that you brought up that whole Jennifer Lawrence thing, there's something really funny about the whole Jennifer Lawrence. So the LA Times Right to Peace, and like this is the mindset of the individuals that we're dealing with. So LA Times Right to Peace, and it's pretty much cut, copy, and paste, everything we've heard before. So like it doesn't, at this point in time, it doesn't even bear to like repeat what was in the LA Times piece. We've read it all before. But what was interesting was there was a link within the LA Times piece to another piece criticizing Jennifer Lawrence for was made against her. Like, they basically turned around and said, listen, sweetie, you gotta...
You're breaking up really, really bad.
You need a reality check, all right?
I blame Obama.
Basic check, because what happened to her wasn't an attack. Oh my God. Like, so she comes out and denounces it and says, this was an attack, this was horrible, and then LA Times that rushed to the defense of like Brianna Wu and Sarkeesian didn't factor in yet. They're telling her, Jennifer Lawrence, that yeah, you're a little delusional right now. You need a reality check on what happened. Let's define what is misogyny, what is sexism, who is a feminist, and who isn't a feminist. I mean, like, I posted this on the board before, like the whole thing that McIntosh, whatever the heck his name is, turned around and denounced Scott Summers. I mean, Hoff Summers, sorry. He denounces Hoff Summers saying, like, you know, you're not really a feminist. And it's like, I'm sorry, but a young guy like him with a bachelor's in media does not get to turn into a woman who was a part of like the second wave, you know, human rights movement, who has written volumes and volumes and volumes about gender science. You don't get to tell her she's not a feminist. If anything, she gets to tell you a little something about where you fit in the spectrum. But I mean, this is the mentality that we're dealing with here.
I've just dug up some of the tweets that were going backwards and forwards between Bobby Oliveira and Base Mom, and they're a little bit weird. Like, he keeps threatening her with, I have a pack after the election, ads are going to be run.
Link?
Sure. He says that he's gonna that they're gonna try her for gender treason. That she's made her bed by apologizing for assault and rape.
Hear that? I'm sorry.
Gender treason. I swear to God.
Can you repeat them so I make sure I heard you right?
There's just too much noise going on right now.
Yeah.
I think would like to.
David, real quick, David, I feel like you're streaming from a factory or something. There's a lot of noise, although it may still be Victor with his white noise. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, because I actually haven't heard anything, so I'm pretty sure that should be me.
If we could just slightly kind of get back on topic, because you guys were talking about the Kotaku and Action moderator drama and the fight with 8chan, and I know absolutely nothing about that.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, I'll give a brief description of that, because I read through a lot of that thread. So,
so summarize it, because I have no idea.
Yeah, for sure. So what happened with Kotaku and Action is Gawker or Polygon, one of the anti-GGE sites did a sort of hit piece on the moderators of Kotaku and Action, where they listed all the main moderators, or most of the main moderators, and this guy's also a poster in this subreddit, which is anti-feminist, and this guy's also a poster in this subreddit, which is for gore porn, and it was a bunch of bullshit. One of the moderators, sort of an ad hominem attack, like, you can't, these people are bad because they enjoy things that I personally find unacceptable, so you can't, they're...
This coming from the site that doxed every legal gun owner in New York.
And also the site that, and this is addressed in the second link. This is in the thing. I'm going from the bottom up because I think I organize it badly. But so the hit piece on the Kotaku and Action mods came out. A couple days later, Oxy Munches, which was one of the mods who was doxed, released a response. And he posted in Kotaku in Action, and he pointed out a lot of things and had what I thought was a pretty good response to was basically a bullshit ad hominem attack. Now, at some point in the last 24 hours, he was demoted by a newly added moderator. Now, this moderator, I would have to pull up the link. I don't remember his name, but that moderator was he apparently moderates a Shit Reddit Says SRS related sub called Best of Outrage Culture, which basically just reposts comments from Kotaku in Action and mocks them. I've been to Best of Outrage Culture. It's fucking bullshit. Ostensibly, it's about all sorts of I'm gonna go because Best of Outrage Culture. I swear I know how to type. I'm not that drunk. It ostensibly it talks about a bunch of sites. There's a bunch of things that they monitor to just talk shit about. But Kotaku in Action is really like most of the posts are about Kotaku in Action. They also have fuck your shit, kill fucking Chrome. I don't know what Chrome's doing. Anyway, yeah, they have SRS sucks, men's rights, SRS discussion, Kotaku in Action, Tumblr in Action discussion, undelete conspiracy against men's rights, Bitcoin, any political sub, blah, 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 blah. But the vast majority of the posts are Kotaku in Action. Now, one of the moderators of that got added for whatever fucking reason as a moderator of Kotaku in Action. He removed Oxy Munches as a moderator, and some shit resulted from that. I don't know what the resolution is. I think Oxy Munches has been reinstated. I'm not sure. I guess I can check right now since I'm on lay internet.
And I just started to like Kotaku again. Not Kotaku, yeah. I'm sorry. Reddit. My brain. I'm so sorry for that.
Yeah, my brain too.
I just started liking Reddit again, and now...
Well, the thing, there's two sort of different aspects of Reddit from a moderation standpoint. There's the admins, which are employees of Reddit, who have a vested interest in making the company money. funding their own paychecks. They are a business. They are not, they're not a government. They're not responsible. They talk a lot about free speech, but they are ultimately well within their rights to censor whatever the fuck they want. And that's what we saw with what really spawned this whole thing, at least for me, which was the censoring of posts about the Zoe post in was it R Gaming, where it was like the 30,000 deleted comments and the hundreds of shadow banned people.
And then she bragged about it.
That went on everywhere though. Even on 4chan they deleted loads of threads and stuff about.
Right, and that's it. All kind of brought things to a head, and then when the Gamers Are Dead article came out, that really fucking launched it, and we've been going for over 2 months at this point, which it's fucking amazing.
I actually wanted to say something to this because again, as you bring up Jesus, I think it was you. They began to ban people on 4chan, and I can see from the Reddit standpoint, I've never really come there that much. I came from 4chan, and on 4chan, all the moderators, they actually do it for free, which they do it for free. And that was what was so crazy about it, because they didn't really stand to gain anything from banning these threats, but yet they still did it.
Didn't Moot fire a bunch of his moderators and hire SJW ones, and that's
pretty much, yeah.
I don't know if that's confirmed. I do know
pretty sure because I remember there was this big thing about being exiled.
Well, Mood is kill, Fortune is kill, but Chris Poole went to XOXO Fest with Anita Sarkeesian and apparently made friends with her, and
he's dating one of the interns from what I understand, if it's not an intern, he's dating someone from Gawker.
Relationships are complicated.
Life's complicated, man.
Internet's serious business.
It's like, all we ask for is to, let us know if you have a personal relationship or if you're paid to review this game. That's all we want.
That's just it. For me, at least, I don't particularly mind if people want to approach video game criticism from any particular political perspective. Actually, this is something that Total Biscuit brought up, and I agree with him on this. I really admire Polygon for doing this. They straight up said, look, we're a progressive site. Everything that we talk about, we're going to talk from the perspective of leftist progressive issues. And that's cool because they're being upfront about it. Their readers know that they're getting the bias when they step into the discussion, when they read the site. And that's okay. Then people can make an informed decision based on that. Okay, well, I like this stuff. I want to see things from that perspective, or fuck that, I'm going to go to another site that ostensibly doesn't do that sort of thing.
My main thing though was that the attack on the identity of gamer, and I, excuse me, I've said this before. I've been a gamer for my whole life. Gaming has got me through some of the most horrific things I've ever dealt with, that anyone could deal with, I think. And to see that, and not only that, but people who identify as gamers have been there for me when my own family wasn't. These people saved my life. To see the people that have helped me so much, to see something that I thoroughly enjoy get shat on repeatedly, and I just see all these lies about these people, that's what really got me into this. And I don't, if you want to write about more feminist games, fine. If you have a certain political agenda that you're viewing a game from and you're talking about that, fine. That's fine. I honest to God don't care. I may not agree with what you say, but I'll fight to the death for your right to say it. It's when you start shitting on the people that you basically rely on for views. That's when I start having a problem.
For sure, and to me, the biggest thing with the ethics in gaming journalism, which is very, very important to me, although I don't talk about it often on these streams, the biggest thing is, as it is for I think most of us, is the non-disclosure of personal relationships, or financial relationships. When you're Jessica Chobot and you're fucking put as a character into Mass Effect 3 with your own face, and you're a voice actor for the character, voice actress, I guess, and you're doing a lot of content and articles and whatnot on the site pimping Mass Effect 3. Okay, maybe that's a bad example because that's fucking obvious. Like anyone who plays a game is like, oh yeah, there's Jessica Chobot and she was reviewing it. But you know, when you're not disclosing that you're financially benefiting from the material that you're putting out, when the game sells better, you do better as a reviewer. There's a separation that should be there that often is not there, and that's a significant problem. When people are donating to people's Patreon accounts and then writing articles featuring the games that those people have made, like if you're going to do that, the consensus among actual journalists and people concerned about ethics, and most of us in Gamergate, is that's fucking unethical. But if you're going to do it, at least disclose it, you know? Tell people that, and it's fucking simple, and some people have done that. And the fallout from this, we actually have made, and that's something that people sometimes don't realize, we actually seem to have made some positive changes. The Escapist redid their ethics policy, IGN redid their ethics policy, I believe. One or two others have made a point of promising to disclose such things in the future. You know, whether they'll actually do it, who knows? We have to hold them accountable. That's Gamergate is kind of a sort of accountability thing. I mean, that's, you know, yeah, we're a consumer movement. We're bitching about stuff. We want to see things. You know, like I said, lots of different perspectives. We want to see things go a certain general direction, but once we've gotten that, once we've kind of reached our goal, it's not done for us. Well, first of all, we're still going to be a community. I'm still going to want to talk to all you fuckers, but beyond that, we're going to have to check up on these people to hold them accountable, let them know that, you know, hey, if you start being fucking corrupt fuckers again, we're going to be on your shit again, just like we are now. We're going to be calling all your advertisers and getting fucking all these major advertisers, losing you hundreds of thousands of dollars was it Steven Totillo or whoever the Gawker dude is.
Basically, what we're doing with the advertising is we're starving them out. Like, they can't continue their sites. They can't continue having jobs without the ad income, basically, essentially.
Do you know what I haven't heard, though? I haven't heard anybody in the game journalism media actually arguing against any of those measures. They haven't been arguing against increased transparency or a proper register for conflicts of interest.
No, because how do you argue against that?
No, exactly, and that's, you know, if on that basis alone, Gamergate should be over relatively quickly. I mean, there are certain institutions and organizations that are obviously not going to bow to that kind of consumer pressure, and they are going to be driven out of business, as they quite rightly should be. But Gamergate seems to be dragging on not because of an argument over the ethics question, but because the ethics debate simply isn't happening in lieu of all of this social justice warrior bullshit.
Well, they're just denying that it's happening.
Go ahead, Cassie. Or Victor.
Well, they're denying that it's about ethics. That's what they're doing. They're the ones actually dragging it out. If they just acknowledge that it's about ethics, maybe they can make a change, but they're the ones being ignorant.
But who's making that denial?
Misogynistic shitlords. So many people, you know, it's really the whole anti-Gamergate side, and I've seen a lot of okay, by a lot I mean like 4. I've seen 4 posts just in the past 24 hours. Some on Kotaku in Action, and one on Twitter from Mike Cernovich, the lawyer dude, basically describing ways to end Gamergate. And one of the biggest things that's repeated in what I've seen is basically acknowledge that there's actual fucking ethical issues and stop accusing everyone of either being a cishet white male misogynistic harasser and all not your shield people being sock puppets, or I don't know what the other half of that was, but
women. Oh, sorry.
Women's. Go ahead, Lisa.
I just wanted to say real quick is that with some of them, I honestly feel, and it depresses me to no end, but I honestly feel some of them honestly don't think they're doing anything wrong.
I don't think so. And also to the thing, anyway, what did you expect them to do? Just say that, yep, we're corrupt, we're going to change the system, and then we're going to lose a lot of money. That is perfectly fine, let's just do it right away. Of course they won't fucking do that. They want to
there's a tendency.
Money. But, yeah, there's a tendency, but not from these Gawker sides.
There's a tendency, though, I was, in general,
maybe in the
may
smaller
Go
businesses,
ahead.
this is a really, really big business. This is a lot of the money they get.
But it's clearly not in their interest to continue these practices when they're losing business. From a business perspective, it would be much more sensical of them from a business perspective to just say, we done goofed, fire one person, maybe the chief and editor of some of these sites, and then just
from a self-centered, egotistical perspective, the longer you've gone on pushing this narrative, even though there's so much evidence that it's complete bullshit, and in your heart you may know that it's complete bullshit, there's that tendency to just double down, go beyond full Macintosh, go fucking quadruple Macintosh, and just progress it, because it gets harder. It's not about saving face at that point. It's about, I don't know, I guess picking your face back up off the floor and putting it back to some semblance of a human. Like, I don't know, poor metaphor maybe, but
here's the thing.
Go ahead.
I really freaking hate it when they use women as an excuse. I mean, how do they know that they speak for all women? And like, some of the women are not even interested in being in the game industry as a career. Like how are they sure that women are interested in the industry?
Because they're feminists and they're always right. So obviously they must stand for all women because they're right.
Well, Brianna Wu knows every woman in the gaming industry. I mean,
apparently she does. I've heard so.
Can I interject?
Yeah, go ahead, David. David had something to say. Go ahead.
Okay. I was I'll try to tie in a couple of points together, and I'll try to keep it brief. It actually is in their best interest, I believe. The reason why is because I think it's like, I want to go back to the Mass Effect 3 ending weirdness that happened with that. I was just at work one day and I was listening to NPR and they were talking about this NPR show, like they were talking about the Mass Effect 3 ending, and I'm scratching my head and like, why in the world would NPR care about this? This doesn't really seem like it was like newsworthy of them. Like, this is it's something that affects gamers. And then I start finding out like what sites were talking about what, and then talking with some of my own friends who turned out to be SJWs. They were like laughing at that and like, yeah, what the hell's wrong with gamers complaining about like the ending of a video game? So I started noticing a trend that a lot of my friends started posting, like they have nothing to do with video games. They don't play video games whatsoever. But they started sharing more and more articles from Kotaku and Polygon and stuff, and I'm scratching my head like, wait a minute, why are you guys posting these articles from a video game magazine, from a video game standpoint? And then I noticed that myself, like, I actually don't visit these sites. Like, I haven't visited those sites in a really long time. Like, I get my info directly through, like, basically other gamers. So it's like we democratized this entire function. Like, talking about games, trading information about games, we've democratized this. We talk directly to each other through, like, all these social media outlets. So I would love to see if we could plot somehow Kotaku and Polygon traffic. I think that as more and more news sites or like video game sites migrated to video blogs, like Kotaku and Polygon just couldn't or just didn't want to migrate that kind of way of dealing with video game journalism. So for them, it was just simply easier to divorce themselves from us. The articles that they were writing, like, like the death of gamer and this weird narrative that they were pushing for, like, misogyny and stuff, like, direct attempt from them to capture that audience. They want to capture the young urban professional that is always getting their news through iPods and smart devices. Like, they don't want us anymore. They want them. And so they're going to use us, and like, we're no longer the audience. We are the raw material. And they're stirring the pot to get us riled up and do all this stuff so that they can write this narrative to sell to these yuppies, saying, look, hey, there's misogyny afoot here. listen to us and we'll tell you all about it. So basically, like they're writing clickbait articles basically for like the whole iPod. Yeah, sensationalism for the iPad generation.
And I would like to say, first off, the thing is, I'm from Denmark, I've said it before, and actually I have never really heard about Kotaku and any of that before. I think it's more American, to be honest. I've heard the name a couple of times, never actually been to this site, and this is actually something I wanted to talk about. It is the reason why they kept fighting this in this mess is because they reach out to the people that are not gamers. And as you say, they want to pander to them. They want them to read the articles. And that is also why I think they are fighting this fight as they do. It's because they don't care about the gamers at all. They make money otherwise. So they can keep fighting this fight and just say, fuck the gamers. You can have whatever demands you want. We will never do as you say because we don't care about you anymore. That is why they are still fighting and will keep fighting. Will fight more like ignore the fact that we want to talk about journalistic ethics. But yeah.
And well, as a response to that, if I may, I agree with much of what you guys have said. Actually, this is not even really a direct response, but two things. Very important point, I feel, is we are not, people on the anti-Gamergate side, and some news people have picked up on this too, is the idea that we are censoring organizations like Gawker and Polygon by contacting their advertisers. That's not censoring, that's censuring them. S-E-N-S-U-R-E. We're simply telling the advertisers, look, we're the people that you're trying to reach with your advertisements. We think that these websites are bullshit. If you want to effectively reach us, don't advertise with them. That they're still free to fucking say whatever they want. All those writers can start a fucking WordPress or pay $10 for a year's worth of domain somewhere and post it writing somewhere else. But we're not preventing their ability to speak. We're just telling them, look, we're not gonna. We're telling their advertisers that we're not going to be visiting their site, and if they're trying to reach gamers, they should advertise elsewhere. And along those lines, there's a Chrome add-on that I saw on Kotaku in action just yesterday called GG Blocker, which is like the old, there was an old Gamergate add-on that played the Nyan Cat video every time you tried to visit a site that was anti-Gamergate, so you were denying them clicks and ad revenue and whatnot. GG Blocker will do something even better, and I'm so proud of whoever made this. It automatically, when you try to visit, say a Gawker article or a Salon article or whatever, like whatever anti-Gamergate site, it'll search for and go to the archive.today link if it's available, and if it's not available, it'll give you a button so you can automatically create one. So that's great shit. I encourage everyone to get its GG Blocker for Chrome. Lisa was asking for the link. I'll get it to you guys in the chat. I can't give it to our viewers because I didn't enable the showcase app or whatever the fuck. But
well, we'll link it in the Facebook group. And maybe
yeah. Well, I think it is in the Facebook group. I think it's in Gamergate 2014. Which, by the way, to our viewers, if you are not in the Gamergate 2014 Facebook group and you have a Facebook, I highly encourage you to join. Also, the Gamergate Break Room group, which is a sister group of Gamergate 2014, where we talk about whatever other shit we want to talk about that is not Gamergate related directly. A little bit biased there. Me and Lisa are admins of that. Big fans of the group. It's good stuff. Good community there. Good community overall. I have not met a person involved with Gamergate that I've personally talked to, whether they're neutral or pro Gamergate. I haven't really talked on a real personal level with too many anti-Gamergate people, but I haven't met someone that wasn't a cool person, and that's something that's crazy to me, you guys. Like, all of us, I think we had these divisions in the game community, and this situation, this 2-month-long fucking campaign of us being told that we're terrible, shitty people for liking video games has really pulled us all together in a crazy fucking way, and it's a beautiful thing. And Lisa was talking about this earlier on on Dr. Lehman's stream. I don't know if you brought it up on your own, Lisa, or if it was something that Dr. Lehman
not on the stream here. I mentioned it before we started, but I know what you're talking about. He asked what one of the things that I loved most about this movement is there are people who I would have no other reason to talk to be honest. And I have met so many awesome people through this. People who prefer PC to PS4 or Xbox to PS4. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a PS4 fangirl. I love PC as well. Yeah, people who like genres of games I don't necessarily care about and would have no other reason to talk to them about. You know, we've all come together. Doesn't matter what our background is. Doesn't matter what we believe religion-wise or any other. None of that matters. It's brought so many different people together. And in a way, and this might sound a little weird, I kind of have to thank the people who kickstarted this entire thing. Because I've met some awesome people through this. And if some of these guys haven't gone out and shown their ass, as it were, I never would have. So I try to look at that in a positive way.
Likewise, I mean, it's kind of a butterfly effect kind of thing. I was talking to Felix about this earlier, and Felix just left, guys. I don't know, some of you might have seen him leave, but he had to, I don't know, he said he had to go to bed. But, I was talking to him earlier.
I just need to say something quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a bad pun, but talking about asses, I will be right.
All right. So, we've all, I think, met so many cool people. I mean, I'm here talking to a dude from Denmark, people from, I don't know where the rest of you all are from. I'm guessing Intransigent is from somewhere in England. Emmanuel. Dutch? And Intransigent, what'd you say?
London.
London, okay, right on. Then we got Pseudonym is from New York. Oh, yep, Cassie's from California. You know, people from all over the world. I have Felix from Sweden. There's a couple other people from England that I've talked to on previous streams. Miles, who spilled beer on his tablet, unfortunately, and probably won't be able to join us for a while.
Dr. Lehman's from Germany.
Dr. Lehman's from Germany. He does not have anywhere close to a German accent, I feel. That's weird to me. But yeah, that's just the thing. Not only am I meeting cool people, and I guess that was my point, is everyone seems to be pretty fucking cool, but it's people from around the world who I would have never had a real reason to talk to, but we've all come together because of this shared interest in video games and a shared goal in getting these people to back the fuck up who are I don't know, I guess oppressing us, who are intent on changing our hobby from the outside. Yeah, we are fucking oppressed. We are, there needs to be a word for, like, prejudiced against gamers. Like, gamist? I don't know.
Oh, wow, here we go.
People...
Anti-video.
Yeah, these people are gamist. These people are vidiists. That sounds weird. I like gamist a little better, honestly.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm biased because I came up with it.
Let's get it trending.
Let's do it.
We can do it. We got 6 people in the 7 people including me in the thing. We got 8 viewers, so we can. You guys, let's
get this started.
Push this shit.
It's something
people
I want.
Being gamist against us. Yes. Go ahead, guys. I'm sorry.
Just wanted to say something, and I mentioned this in the chat. Something else that kind of irritates me about this is, yeah, you have a lot of YouTubers who are primarily, their gaming channels. And yeah, some of them have spoken out, some of them have not. And it kind of angers me in a way to see people bashing the ones who haven't spoken out. And if you feel this way, I just want to say this real quick. I'm not naming names out of respect for him. A good friend of mine he has a decent following on YouTube, but I asked him why has he not said anything. He goes, have you seen how many careers have been ruined? My wife just had another baby. This is my livelihood. I cannot afford to lose this. And I think it's sad that, that has to even be a thought. That if I speak out on this, I could lose my job. I could lose my livelihood. And that's why people, bigger names in YouTube that haven't really spoken out, it would be nice if they did, but I can't really be angry at them for not doing so.
Well, like there's this one journalistic site or YouTube channel that I follow, SourceFed, and their website has been posting a lot of Gamergate stuff. And when they posted about Colbert, they said something like, hold on. There's something like takes down Gamergate or whatever, and I was just like, really? Are you fucking kidding me? She made her a fool of herself, and you're saying that she won. And I'm like, how more one-sided could you be? They made a video about it before saying that Anita was a victim or whatever, and it like really pissed me off, and I was like, how could they be so ignorant of these things? You know?
Yeah. I can definitely. The thing is, and this has been proven, I think, advertisers are paying attention to this. We've gotten email. Oh, one of the people who wished to remain anonymous that was interviewed said that they were on the design team for Xbox, and they think we're doing a great job. There are a lot of game developers who are as sick of their crap as we are.
Yeah. I mean, like, you think that a bunch of gamers, like, there are a lot of gamer YouTubers who support the anti-Gamergate for whatever reason is. Some of them oppose Gamergate because they're just like, I'm a gamer, I just want a game, who the fuck cares about journalistic ethics? But then you realize that they're making money off of lies, and, like, if we can't tackle this small corruption in this small subgenre of journalism or blogging, then how are we going to tackle corruption in, you know, actual journalism or in, like, politics? How are we going to do that?
One of the wins that they'll never be able to denude is the fact that just by the existence of Gamergate, we've been able to prove that gamers are not the antisocial, basement-dwelling, all-male stereotype that they'd been so much invested in gambling when they make these stereotypical reports. I mean, the fact that, as you say, people from all walks of life, from all different types of gaming, from all different countries around the world have united under one hashtag, I think goes somewhere toward dispelling the fact that, you know, gamers are not the angry middle-aged white virgin that everyone thought they were.
Yeah. I mean, I know that Lisa and I, we're both not men. I know I'm white, but there's a lot of things that don't make me, you know, that, oh, slave runner family or blah, 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 you know, so privileged, because didn't, HuffPost or something post that privilege quiz? And I took it, and I was like 25% privileged, and it was like, you were not privileged at all. And I was like, well, that's what I thought.
You know, there's something that I've said as far as gamers, we're such a diverse group and such an inclusive group. I'm sorry to interrupt, but something that I'm so big on, like, you know, I play a lot of first-person shooters. I fucking love Counter-Strike. It's a game. I've played it for 15 years. I go back to it all the time. I'm fucking terrible at it. I am not anywhere near as good as I should be for playing it 15 years, but I love the game. And I don't fucking care about the gender or sexual preference or race of the person I'm playing with. I just want them to fucking cover me as I'm defusing the bomb. That's all I fucking care about, is that they're a good player and that we all enjoy the game. You know, that's what's fucking insane to me. Go ahead.
I think that's a point that was made by Sargon. It's kind of like gaming is one of the few remaining meritocracies in which you have to be good in order to win. There's no cronyism in gaming. You can't bribe the boss of a particular level, or you can't bribe the opposing team to win. If you're bad at a game, you're gonna lose.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially. And then you have a bunch of non-gamers against gamers who don't know, they don't know how to play games that we do, so obviously.
So meritocracy, I'm gonna look it up here before I say anything. Never mind. I feel like I heard that word in a different context.
Wall hack, and then you're cheating, and then you win. But,
you know, true story, and then I actually want to move on to actual video game related stuff. But real quick, while I'm looking up meritocracy, actually, I don't care about meritocracy. So I actually did install back in, I don't know, 2002, 2003-ish. I installed a wall hack for Counter-Strike because hacking was big then as it is now, and really any competitive multiplayer game, especially first-person shooters. and it was Counter-Strike 1.3, I think. I may be off on the version numbers. I installed Wallhack, and I played with it for a little while. This is before you could get banned throughout the entire game on all the multiplayer servers for being caught cheating. And you know what? It was fucking boring as fuck. Like, I don't understand how people do that and like actually get enjoyment out of it. Like, everything is transparent. You know where everyone is all the time. Like, sure, your little score number, your kill death ratio goes up, but what the fuck does that mean? Fucking like just play the game legit.
Part of the fun is the exploration, figuring out what can I do, what can't I do.
Pseudonym has left us, David. Have a good one, dude. All right, so let's move on because we've done about an hour and 10-20 minutes on Gamergate directly stuff. Gonna pivot us to games themselves. It was Halloween last night. I hope you all had a good one. I didn't have any trick-or-treaters myself. It's the layout of my neighborhood. No one fucking comes to our house.
Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Move on to like actual game. So I was watching a video from Sargon, and he was talking about Jessica Valenti, who's like a really, really extremely popular feminist. And he was saying that he discovered that SJWs don't want more women in the industry. They actually want female supremacism within the industry.
Just a second, I'm sorry. I was responding to a message on Facebook. Can you say that again?
Yeah, I would like to say, again, they are a very, very big group, and maybe the leaders, Anita and all of them, want female supremacy, but you can't generalize like that in such a big group. Don't scoot to that level. And I would also like to say that Anita actually brought up the word equalism on the Colbert report the other day. It was probably just to sound good, but yeah, she did that.
Well, I mean, that's what I think. That's based on my views because I've seen a lot of the stuff going on lately, like during these past few months about this whole gender culture, feminism invading, video games and comic books, areas where people don't want them to be.
Make no mistake, I'm sorry to interrupt, Emmanuel, but it is not just video games. It's not a new thing. It is a larger culture war. There was something that was brought up, and it's it's an interesting place to start. And you actually, Emmanuel, I know you're big into the anti-feminist sort of stuff. You might already know about this, but there's something you guys should all look up. It's the Frankfurt School, which was set up, and I don't actually know that much about it, but it was a sort of neo-Marxist kind of social policy thing. It was sort of the genesis of a lot of this modern SJW type stuff. And this was back in like decades ago. And we've seen this stuff before. We have seen all of this stuff before. We had Cassie just asked us unrelated, but Game Informer on the blacklist. I don't know. I know Game Informer wrote one article about tropes versus women recently and one anti-Gamergate article, but I don't know if we're actually blacklisting them. And I don't know, fucking pay money to shit that you like and don't pay money to shit that you don't like. But as far as, in the 70s and 80s, we had the sort of social justice ideas creeping into academia. We had people coming in and saying shit like chemistry is racist and bullshit like that. In the mid-2000s, we had Atheism Plus. People saying it's not cool to, it's not good enough to just not believe in God, to be an atheist, not believe in any deities. You have to be, yeah, you have to be progressive. You have to, and it's fucked up to me because I used to identify as progressive, but I found out I'm really fucking not. You have to have all these things attached. You have to have Atheism Plus, and that's where Thunderfoot got off on his anti-SJW stuff. And so it started with Rebecca Watson and Elevator Gate. Matt Dillahunty got caught up in it. Unfortunately, Aaron Raw, who is one of my favorite atheist speakers, dude's a badass. He got caught up in it. He's apparently pretty SJW. And actually, I went on a drunken rant about that like fucking a month or so back on the main Gamergate group.
Just real quick, I just posted in the chat a list of recommended sites.
Gotcha.
So if you guys are looking to get your gaming news from somewhere that isn't full of shills, then it'll be on that.
Oh, this is a new one. I haven't seen this one. How recently was this made?
I'm not entirely sure. I know Socks mentioned it, and she posted the link. That's where I got it from on
I'm gonna post this in the
update,
user
I think,
chat.
3 days ago.
Fuck, comments can't contain links. All right, we looks like we have Magic Bubblehead trying to join us. Yeah, he was a viewer in the chat. Just like I think most of us are, I was bad about ignoring the chat, but I happened to see him post. I tried to give him the link. I don't know, I'm gonna fucking follow him here on Google Plus because the link didn't work for some reason.
Yeah, I'm working on a sculpt of Rina from Higurashi.
Don't do it, it's a trap.
Hey, I love that show. That's like my favorite horror anime.
So we got distracted, but I wanted to move us to games. I am adding Magic Bubblehead. If you can hear me, I'm trying to add you. I don't know how the fuck Google stuff works.
You have an awesome screen name, by the way.
He also has a fucking goat pentagram thing as his icon, which is kind of cool. It's an icon that I haven't seen before.
Because if it's a Slipknot fan, I'm gonna get along with him just great.
How does this even work? Like, I can add him to my circles. Is that going to be enough for us to contact each other? I don't really understand.
Oh no.
I need to learn. I need to learn to Twitter. I need to learn to fucking Google Plus. Apparently, I don't understand. But I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I guess I can. I have a hangout button. What the fuck does that do?
Hang up on us, I dare you.
No, hang out. Hang out. I'm not gonna. True fact. If I hang out on you guys, the call will continue, but it'll go off air. So you all will be able to laugh at me for being retarded, but everything will work. Except no one else will hear you laughing at me for being retarded. Yeah. I really don't understand this shit. No, I think I do. I think I get this, because now I can go, I've added them to my circles. This is fucking ridiculous. I need to figure this shit out, but yeah, it's a learning process.
If you have two different Google Plus accounts under one name, it gets confusing as crap. That's what happened to me last night.
Oh, Christ. I have 4 Google accounts that I actually pretty regularly use.
And that's hard enough.
I have a Google Voice number on one of them. I don't know if this is a smart thing to reveal. I don't know if people would fucking probably figure it out and fuck with my shit. But I have a Google Voice number, and I found out recently that I can send text and make phone calls on the Google Voice number no matter which Google account I'm logged into, because, I don't know, it figured out that they're all linked or some shit. It sends all the text from the same number. Why is this not working? Anyway, so while I'm trying to figure this shit out and add Magic Bubblehead, I hope you're still listening. Be patient. I'll figure this out in a second. Let's talk about horror games. It was Halloween last night. What either are your favorite horror games, or maybe tell some stories about games that the scariest moment in a game, or the scariest moment in something that's happened to you that's related to a game. Fucking doesn't have to be a horror game. I mean, one awesome example, because it's one of my favorite fucking games, Half-Life 2, the Ravenholm level. Overall, it's not a scary game, but Ravenholm, man, the first time you encounter that was fucking intense shit. So y'all just, anyone start, fucking whatever, I'm trying to figure this shit out with Magic Bubblehead.
I would like to begin, because I'm not going to say so much. First off, again, Denmark, we don't really celebrate Halloween as much as Americans do. And I don't really like anything horror, so I played Amnesia, and I completed the game after around half a year, where I played like 10 minutes and then had to close it down because it was too damn scary. So that's my story. I can't handle that. So yep.
The opening animation to Alice Madness Returns freaked me out to no end. And this is coming from a horror fan. I can sit through movies like The Exorcist and laugh my ass off the entire time. The opening to American McGee's Alice with the woodcut looking animations freaked me out. But also Slender, and I know someone else is going to bring it up, but I have no shame in admitting the first time he finally got me, I cried like a little bitch for about 10 minutes. Also, oh, I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was a anime game. There was a Japanese game that was recently Corpse Party. Corpse Party. I saw the anime, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of curious. I tried to play the game. I kind of wussed out, and I do feel a little ashamed in admitting that because it has, I guess in a way, kind of Game Boy Color style graphics or Game Boy Advance style graphics, but maybe it was because I saw the anime first, and I will say that is one of the goriest things I've ever seen.
I'm sorry, I missed out. What are you talking about, Lisa?
Corpse Party.
Corpse Party?
Yeah, I saw the anime, and it's
the anime called Corpse Party? Is that the name of the anime?
It's an OVA. It's 4 episodes long. This is one of the goriest things I've ever seen. Like, episode 2 starts with a guy getting scissors, a pair of scissors through his eyeball, and they do not skip on the gore here. And so I'm like sitting there at the end of it, just kind of staring at my screen, well, that just happened. I want to play the game. And so I tried to play the game, and I wimped out.
I'd like to respond to, because I was listening, but I was only half listening because I was trying to figure out the Magic Bubblehead shit, which, by the way, Magic Bubblehead is in. Hi, Magic Bubblehead.
Hello.
Say he's muted, but he might say, he, she, I don't know the gender, but they might say something soon. Victor said about Amnesia the Dark Descent, he got scared shitless and basically stopped the game. I did the same thing, dude. And I was talking about this on the Halloween stream yesterday with Lisa. I played for like half an hour, and I fucking ended up locking myself in a goddamn closet, like a fucking closed closet, and just fucking saved the game and quit, and I haven't played since. Because that game is so goddamn scary. I can't do it.
It wasn't like I was sitting down screaming. It was just whenever something happened, I would get white eyes, I would pause the game, then I would close it down. It was just like that.
What about you, Cassie? Cassie there?
She is muted at the moment.
Yes, she is. Alright, what about you, Emmanuel? You there?
Yes. What are we talking about again?
Yeah, what's your favorite horror game? And if you have one, tell us a story about the scariest moment in a game, or the scariest thing that's ever happened to you related to a game. You know, like, I don't know, playing a game and someone walks in and scares the shit out of you, or just whatever, you know?
Well, probably I would say one of them would be Silent Hill, and then another game would be Dead Space.
Okay. You know, Silent Hill was fucking incredible. I love the original Silent Hill on the PS1. The oppressive fog, man. You can't see like 20 feet off in any direction, and you have no idea where shit's coming from. You're in the dark in a sense. I mean, it's light out, but it's all foggy. You have no idea what the fuck is going on, where anything on the map is. And true fact, the most amazing thing about that, well, real quick on top of that, you have no fucking ammo. There's no fucking, you have a gun eventually, but there's no ammo for anything. So, but the most amazing thing about that to me is that whole atmosphere that really spawned that whole thing that eventually it got made in like fucking 5-6 games or something like that at least, and it got made into a movie. What spawned that was hardware limitations and programming limitations. The draw distance for what they wanted to do on the PS1, they couldn't do it hardware-wise, so they put this fog in to reduce the strain on the hardware, and it ended up making it a way better game than it would have been without that. And that's really a testament to, you know, I'm a former software developer myself. I don't know, I don't do it as a job, but I still have knowledge. A lot can come programming-wise, or really anything creatively or professionally. A lot can come from limitations. There's kind of a beauty sometimes in that. And then you mentioned Dead Space. Dead Space, dude, I couldn't play Dead Space. I don't know what has happened. Sometime in the past, like 3-4 years, I have become a fucking pussy when it comes to horror games. Like, I played through Doom 3 when it first came out, and I fucking loved it. I rocked that shit. I beat that. I killed the fucking. I think it was the expansion where you kill the big skeleton, Satan, whatever the fuck he is.
Well, that's supposed to be a horror game.
Doom 3?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of jump scares. Fucking you turn a corner and fucking imp comes out and fucks your shit up. I guess it wouldn't be called a traditional horror game, but it is pretty scary in parts. But I played through that. I played through so many things in the past. Silent Hill. In fact, when I was 11 years old, I played through Silent Hill with a friend. We rented it from Blockbuster. This friend was like 3 fucking years older than me. Which shout out to Martin if he ever watches this. He was getting scared and making me play the game because he couldn't handle playing it. I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll play it. But sometime in the past 3-4 years, I've become so scared of fucking things. In Dead Space, I couldn't play it, dude. I played like 45 minutes, and I just fucking put it down. That's another game like Amnesia where I just fucking put it down and haven't played since. I should, though. I should go back to it.
Well, Dead Space, like, the thing is that in normal mode, it's not even scary, like, whatsoever. Well, probably like the first few times, but once you try like the hardest difficulty, then that's when it gets scary.
Have you played Dead Space 2?
Yes, I actually passed it in the hardest difficulty. I just need to pass it in hardcore, and that's it.
Right on.
But yeah, both of those games. The thing is that the feeling of like, you know, the tense atmosphere and kind of like the whole insane plot twist to both those games.
What about the new Alien Isolation? Oh, we got a picture now. Yay! The new Alien Isolation, it feels like it's the horror genre again, where you don't really have access to that many weapons, and it has a rich backstory because it's in the Alien universe. Have any of you tried that?
Felix has been playing the crap out of that game.
Yeah, I wish Felix was still here because he had a lot to say about Alien Isolation. He just beat it for the second time on the hardest difficulty. And he's a pretty big fan of the game, I think, at this point. He said he acknowledges it has some problems, but he's really enjoyed it. He's played it, like, the past 2 streams I've been on him with, he's just been playing it throughout the entire stream and kind of commenting as an aside while he's playing the game. I'd like to welcome Magic Bubblehead officially to the chat. He joined, or she, I still don't know gender because they haven't spoken. Yeah, right on. Hey, dude. Hey, you know, where are you from? And how'd you get into Gamergate? Or how'd you find the stream if you're not even into Gamergate?
Well, I follow a lot of the SGW stuff, and I'm a French Canadian. I've been there when Atheism Plus and the old elevator gate happened. And my most scariest gaming experience was the Ouija board at 13 years old.
Right on. What's your favorite horror game? Or any scary experience you've had related to gaming in any form, be it video gaming or tabletop or card games or anything?
Like I said, the Ouija board is very scary when you believe a little in that stuff. You know, when you're 13 years old. I've been playing with friends and it scared the shit out of me. You know what it is, the Ouija board?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're familiar with the Ouija board. Actually, I learned Lisa, the chick with the orange and gray My Little Pony avatar. She used to be a paranormal researcher, which I didn't know.
I was a paranormal researcher. I was a paranormal researcher. I've had some experiences. Ouija boards are bad news. That is one of the.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that is one of the quickest ways to get a lot of really bad shit happening to you in a very quick amount of time. The way Ty puts it, it's kind of like getting a hooker with an STD, you're gonna have fun, but in the end, it's just gonna end badly for you.
Demon.
I'm gonna have to offer a dissenting opinion on that. Dude, Ouija boards are purely psychosomatic kind of stuff. That actually might not be the right word. I'm pretty buzzed, but
Yeah.
it's all in your head. You're subconsciously, and you're not consciously. You don't consciously realize it, which is what makes it such a crazy experience. But you are, as a group, moving the thing. There's no paranormal force. There's no, I say this as an atheist, as a general skeptic, and a complete someone who completely rejects the idea of any sort of supernatural entities. I kind of have the idea that just a second, sorry. I have the idea that anything that has an effect on nature, on the universe, is by nature not supernatural. If it's supernatural, if it's outside of nature, beyond nature, it can't have an effect on nature, on the natural laws of the universe. Supernatural can't exist within natural. And as far as the paranormal and things like telepathy and ghosts and all that, if there's evidence of it, and there's a lot of people who've tried to find evidence of it, it's something that we should be able to find, to measure with scientific instruments. There are certainly unexplained things out there, but to me they're not paranormal. They're just unexplained.
Of course. But the
Ouija boards are well known.
I was also on hard drug when I did it, so it maybe had some bad influence on me,
Well, I mean, I've had several paranormal experiences myself, so that's what I believe. I've seen crazy shit happen, so.
Yeah. But I was on hard drug, so that's probably why I imagine sometimes some things happen. But
actually, Lisa, tell us a bit about it. And I don't want you to tell about it, so to start a big discussion about it. But just tell us what has happened to you, and why do you believe what you believe?
Well, I mean, there's this one instance where me and a couple of friends used to have this paranormal radio show. And I don't know if anyone here has ever seen the show. Sorry, I've got to fix my mic. I don't know if anyone here has ever seen the show Ghost Adventures, but there's this one place that they've been to a few times, Bobby Mackey's Music Hall. And for our big 1 month show, because I had been talking to Bobby Mackey at this point, we had him on. And he had kind of made what I thought was a joke, like, well, if I can't get on, it's because the spirits are stopping me to talk to you, and I just kind of laughed it off at first. We had so many issues, and then from the beginning of not the beginning, maybe the middle of the show to the end, my Twitter, as well as the Twitter of the two other hosts, were getting blown up by people going, I am hearing a little girl. We had to stop a few times and go, okay, the TV's off on my end. I'm in here completely alone. There is no little girl with me. And all of us said the same thing. They're like, no, I am hearing a little girl saying your names. And this wasn't just one or two people. I got about 30 PMs about this, all saying the same thing within a 30-minute period. Like, okay, and so me and Ty went back and re-listened to it. Yeah, there were some pretty creepy things that were going on that I did not hear at all. And neither did my co-host at the time. None of us.
Why is it always a little girl?
Well, here's the thing. If you want to go into the aspects of like evil spirits or demonic spirits, they tend to try to sound like children as a kind of a false sense of security, because children are known as innocent. If you hear a child crying for help, you're going to go run and try and help the child. So it's more of a form of trickery.
Or it could just be that most people generally think that children representing innocence actually representing something much darker is a much scarier image than, let's say,
that's the point too. That's a good point.
A red ghoul with horns.
It's a great contrast too. You never think about it's subconsciously, I think, that sends the circle, and all those movies when it's a little girl popping up. It might have some influence on that too.
Yeah, possibly, but I mean, there have been times that I have woken up and I see someone standing on my side of the bed staring at me, and I've woken Ty up a few times, freaking out. Ty, there's someone in our apartment. And they just kind of disappear. At one point, I was just kind of sitting here on my computer, and just out of nowhere, my phone just flew across the room. And that was the thing that really freaked me out.
Sometimes the mind play little tricks on you. Like I watch The Ring on PCP, and it was an horrible thing because somebody trying to scare me who was around Halloween in the past, and someone trying to scare me by ringing at my door with a scary mask, and I had to punch him in the face.
I was here completely alone. My boyfriend was at work. I was here completely alone.
I think the phone book on PCP would be a scary prospect.
Yeah, I think you meant PSP.
No, I think he meant PCP.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Personally, I really like the occult, and I really like reading about it and so on, mainly because I somehow want to believe that it's real. Same thing for God. I really do want to believe that he exists. I don't, because I feel it doesn't make any logical sense, but if God can exist, then maybe angels and demons can exist, and then maybe trolls can exist, and witches, and then maybe I can fulfill my childhood dream of going to Hogwarts at some point. So that I really want this world to be about more than just this everyday gray day we go out into, and it's raining, and I really don't want to go to university or work, and I want some big demon to fly by and then beginning to fight an angel or something. That would really make my day.
Well, for me, I mean, I also, and this might sound a little strange, I actually like looking into quantum mechanics. I haven't looked into it in a while. But the whole idea that energy never dies. The general idea amongst paranormal investigators is that spirits are just huge balls of energy. And they don't die, but they can change. And they can change their appearance and whatnot. So, like I said, it's been a while since I've really looked completely into it, and I really need to get back into doing that again, but...
Well, my avatar is very not representative of me, because I'm not a Satanist, or I don't believe in the Buddhism, but I'm a fervent individualist.
Cool.
Yeah. And Satanism for me is what that represents, and the whole thing with Gamergate is and the other stuff that SGW are hoping on to do is transform the individual into a collective, you know.
Right, we were actually you're kind of talking about SJWs earlier, honestly.
Yeah, but it's just to make my point where I'm coming from, you know.
Well, that's the cool thing. We were talking about that earlier, too, how so many people from different parts of the world, different faiths or whatever, have all come together and say, you know what, I'm putting whatever shit I have with you to the side because we have a common enemy here.
Yeah, but it's important not to demonize them, too. They are still human. They just
That is
got
absolutely true.
They're
still human, but completely insane.
Yeah, but that's still, you know...
It's like a Christian. When you talk them young enough, you can do anything with them. It's like like the Christian, you know.
But just like Christians, not all of them are the extremists, and this is something that Emmanuel, you and I have been talking about a lot recently. Is you know, the SJW types, which I assume is what we're talking about. I just came back. You know, the SJWs for sure are extremists. Not all people who identify with modern feminism would agree with a lot of those ideals. Not all people, not even all SJWs would identify with anti-Gamergate stuff. Just like pro Gamergate, you know, the movement. We're people. I can't count. I'm more drunk than I thought I was, guys. Just like there's 7 of us here who have different opinions on all kinds of different shit, but are allied by a common cause. Even the people that consider themselves anti-Gamergate, they're allied by a common cause for sure. And the SJWs in general, they're put under a common banner, but they don't necessarily all agree. No group is a monolith. From a distance, sure, it seems like a monolith, but the closer you get to it, the more detail you get, the more you realize that there's a lot of people with a lot of different concepts, and not everyone feels the same.
Yeah, but I would say that the common belief among them is equality, total equality. I mean, even the most moderate believes in equality. You know.
It's weird though, because
that's actually something. The thing is that right now and for some time we have only heard the most extreme people on both sides talking. I'm referring to Anita and Brianna and all these feminists. Say they want equalism, but maybe it's more superiority to their game. And also on the Gamergate side, the Internet Aristocrat and Sarkon and King of Poe, they can be quite extreme and aren't that open-minded to the opposition.
They can be opinionated for sure. I wouldn't necessarily call most of them extreme.
No, it's just we're listening to people that don't really want to change their minds and aren't really open to new impressions. And even though it's a really good morale boost and a good way to get an analysis on things happening in Gamergate, we need to, in my opinion, look at the more neutral people and what they are saying about this.
I would even go as far as to say that we haven't heard from the most extreme of them yet. I mean, when you start to look at people like Samantha Allen, who is an open misandrist, who says that she's not even the kind of cute fridge magnet type where she actively hates men and wants to see them all driven into a role of subservience. I think there are,
and all that bullshit.
Exactly. I think there are levels of SJW politics that we haven't yet seen surface yet. But equally, I'm damn sure that there are levels of legitimate, real misogynists within facets of the gaming community that haven't come forward yet. So I suspect as we soon start to see the highlighting of the most extreme elements of one, the opposing party will start to highlight the most extreme elements of the other.
Well, sure, but here's the thing though. If they were so for equality and diversity, then how come when I go to like a feminist site and I just make a plain little simple innocent question, I get banned or blocked?
Well, there's sort of an anti-Gamergate kind of thing with that's something that we've gotten way off topic from the video games themselves. That's all right.
I really would like to get back to that at some point.
All right, let's do that. Let's get back to horror games. You all have talked about. Actually, you know what? So this hangout is titled "Wherein Gamergate Livestream," wherein we name 3 games. Reference to the hashtag related to Anita going on the Colbert report, which we talked about way earlier. How about y'all, one by one, name 3 games, any sort of context, any sort of idea that. I don't know if like your favorite games that are your favorite scary games, anything, any sort of 3 games in a list. I'll go first. Mine are gonna be scary games. We got Silent Hill, Fear. I don't remember which Fear game it is. I have to look on my Steam list. But the one with the chick, the little girl in the red dress that like pops up at random places. I think that might be Fear 3. I don't know. And then. And then Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2, because of the Ravenholm level, those are games that really impacted me as horror games. Any y'all want to pop in with 3 games of your own?
Well, I'm not a big horror fan, so like I've played very few because I used to have very bad game anxiety where I couldn't even battle a boss because I was so scared. So I might be qualified as an official pussy, but I really do like the Five Nights at Freddy games for just the reason that it's aesthetically pleasing and it's just like good, like really well designed, in my opinion. And that's the only one I can really think of right now.
Right on. Anyone else?
Phantasmagoria, Slender, 8 pages, and of course Alice Madness Returns.
Right on. What do you got? We look like we got Intransigent is not muted and Emmanuel's not muted. Either one of you guys want to go?
Okay.
I'm still thinking of something.
What's up, Emmanuel?
I'm still thinking about the 3 games.
Oh, all right. Well, they don't have to be horror games. I mean, this is a sort of reference to the hashtag and the fact that Anita was unable to name 3 games that were direct evidence of the misogyny that she's been talking about for 2 years in all her videos and whatnot. She got $160,000 to talk about. So I mean, they don't have just fucking anything. Any 3 games that you like. What are your 3 favorite games?
Okay, so I would say probably Fallout New Vegas is one of them. Skyrim is another one, and also Resident Evil. I would say 4. But yeah.
Right on. You know, I started playing Resident Evil 4 recently. I'd watched a friend play a lot of it, but I bought it on Steam. Like I pre-ordered it when they did the remake for the enhanced version for Steam or whatever the fuck. I started playing it. I'm a big fan, but I haven't. I'm only like half an hour in. Anyone else? I think we got Victor hasn't answered, and Bubblehead hasn't answered, and Intransigent hasn't answered.
Yeah, the game I played the most is World of Warcraft. It's just a really good game, I think. I also really do enjoy, and now we're a little more into the horror genre, Bioshock. I love the hell out of Bioshock 1. Haven't played Bioshock 2 that much, and I would say Bioshock Infinite, it was really good. And maybe the most scariest game I've ever heard about is Hello Kitty Island Adventure. And
oh my god, that.
I have never been so scared.
Hey guys, it's been fun, but I kind of have to take off. But yeah, thanks for having me on yet again, man. Right. It's been fun.
Yeah, it was
have a good night, everyone.
Fun as always. Have a good one, Lisa.
Good night.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night. And I think I will leave too because it's kind of late around here. So see you later on. And
have a good one, Victor. Thanks for coming on.
See you later.
See you.
All right. So we got Bubblehead and Intransigent. I haven't heard from Bubblehead. I don't know if he's still at his computer. Or,
yes, I'm still there.
Oh, right on. All right. What are your 3 favorite games or 3 scariest games? Just name 3 games, man. Any sort of context, any sort of.
Well, Blitz the League because it's funny. You can juice up your. If you get tackled too hard, you see the radiographic picture of your bone broken, and you can juice it up so your player come back quicker on the play. So I find that pretty amusing. Another games would be Tekken 5 because I love the realistic fighting style that they're going with it. And another one, maybe GTA, the Vice City one. My latest game is PlayStation 2, so I'm not really update for that. You know.
Right on. You know, PS2 is still, it's not a bad console, and it's still, fuck, I know my friend has a PS1 that's fucking like 15, 20 years old. He bought it not long after the PS1 came out, and he's still playing that thing, playing the original Wipeout on it, which was an amazing fucking game. They're pretty resilient consoles, and I see Emmanuel has his webcam on. Good stuff.
Yeah. As you can see, I'm not white.
I believe that when I heard your voice, I figured you were probably not white. So that is not too much of a surprise. And Trent, how about you? Name 3 games, man.
This is really hard because I can think of like 12, and annoyingly, most of them have already been said. Okay, so my first one would have to be Rama, which is a game that came out.
Oh God, Rama, dude!
Oh, so good, so good.
Amazing
that was
game.
The very first game I ever played when I was like 9 or something stupid like that. It's for those who haven't played it, it's like a live action first person role playing
based on
game.
Arthur C. Clarke's novels, the Rama novels, sci-fi.
Just the depth to it and the level of immersion really got me into his kind of books, and it was really good. My second one's probably going to have to be Homeworld 2, just because it was the first kind of strategy game I got into.
Another great fucking game.
I've yet to find a space-based strategy game that quite matches it. And this is really hard. My third one would probably have to be. See, I'm having a toss-up now between. Oh, excellent choice. Excellent. I can't believe you still have that.
Yeah,
that
dude, I fucking
30 years old.
No, it's not 30 years old. It's came out in like 96, 97, but dude, I had fucking amazing game. I never beat it. Beat it. The puzzles were too much for me when I was like fucking 12, and
it came out in 1996. The puzzle was really hard. It's the last level, you basically have to run around trying to find the code to deactivate this nuclear bomb.
Yeah, there's the bomb, and actually I think that's the latest I got to was the start of that countdown, and basically every time you move to another section, it automatically advances the countdown by like a few minutes. And so there's only so much clicking around and guessing that you can do before you're just fucked.
Well, it's the little clues that they hide in, like, when you first meet characters, and you pick up these, like, ridiculous little side hollow cubes of them talking to their grandchildren, and they just happen to mention that they like cascading prime numbers. And you've got to go out and work out what the hell these prime numbers are before you can deactivate the bomb. My last one's probably going to have to be something like Containment Breach, just because it doesn't matter how many times I play it, it scares the living crap out of me. For anyone who's not played it, the SCP series is a series of kind of online, I don't know what you call them, like docudramas, I guess. They're all like written stories, but each one.
SCP is the. There's a lot of copy pastas that are based on those. They're just a weird sort of like.
It's like a catalog of strange items.
Yeah,
and it's from being quite harmless, like a comb that will, grow back your hair, to like a statue where, if providing you're looking at it, it doesn't move, but the second you turn around, it like rips your skin off.
Yeah, I saw that.
As I understand it, it's freely editable. Like anyone can create their own content for it and link it to the other content. And
there's thousands of them. So there's a first-person role-playing game of that where you're in the SCP facility, and one of these SCPs, this lethal statue thing, basically it's in a room monitored constantly by these multiple cameras, and as predictable as it is, you're standing right outside the door when there's a power failure, and then you have to walk around this base, being stalked by this thing. No matter how many times you play it, you know it's going to get you, and it's going to rip your skin off, and you can hear it kind of creeping up behind you, and then you turn around, and it's not there, and you turn back around, and it's kind of lurking in a corner somewhere, and you're fine providing you look at it, and you go through a doorway, and you miss it slightly, and it jumps forward. It's creepy as fuck, especially with the lights off.
That's big.
Good choices, man. Good choices.
I was going to choose Mass Effect, which was obviously a no-brainer.
Yeah, Mass Effect is another great game. That whole series, although for myself, I don't know about anyone else. I haven't played Mass Effect 3. I know it's available on PC, on Origin. I think when it first came out, I was all like, fuck Origin, Steam all the way, I don't want to install another shit. But actually, EA has been really, really good about their support with Origin, way better than Steam support has been in the past few years.
Yeah.
I don't know why I haven't bought it, actually.
I did a complete playthrough recently from like 1 to the end of 3, like transferring my character. So I played like 100 and something hours of this thing, getting really invested into this character. And before it hadn't really registered to me because it had been such a long time between games, because I played them when they first came out, that how much people invest emotionally in the choices they've made.
Oh, for sure.
And how you miss out on so much of the game intentionally being a renegade or intentionally being a paragon to try and influence the outcome of that final battle. And the final battle is like an hour solid of unremitting just carnage, and then you finally get to the end, and it's such a letdown. And whereas when you were playing the game the first time around, you're just kind of like, fuck this. It's just a shit ending. When you play it all the way through, and you see the people, the characters that you've come to grow attached to as you drag them on your missions with you, like dying one by one as you kind of mangle your bloody corpse toward the end, only for it to be the same ending no matter what choice you take. You just feel really cheated. And I can understand where a lot of that hate came from.
Infamous 2.
Is that Infamous?
Yeah, Infamous 2, like the game. When you end up killing your best friend, or when Colbert ends up dying.
I haven't played it.
I haven't played Infamous either. Just Cause, though, I don't know why Just Cause and Infamous are associated in my head, but I did buy Just Cause 1 and 2 on Steam, and that's one of the many Steam games that I have. I have like 350 fucking Steam games, and I've only beaten, or actually I've only played like 22% of them. I've only beaten like 8% of them. It's kind of a problem, man. Fucking Steam sales rape my wallet so hard, and I'm very oppressed by that, actually. I am offended. Gabe Newell is a wallet misogynist, and he...
He's oppressing your bank balance.
He's oppressing my bank balance. But seriously, dude, it's so ridiculously easy with Steam. And true fact, I'm gonna end the stream soon, you guys. We've already had a few people leave, and it seems to be no one is wanting to join to replace them, and it's also 11:30 at night for me. But fucking, like, I used to pirate everything, and don't get me wrong, I still pirate the fuck out of music and movies. However, if I like the music, I will absolutely support the artist as soon as I can in whatever way I can. If I like movies, I don't care so much. That's just me, though. Kind of one of those things, like, I feel morally that you should support art that you like. I also very strongly feel morally that you should be able to try something to see whether you're going to enjoy it before you support it financially. In the case of art and whatnot, but I don't generally pay for movies. Like, I have a few DVDs that I've bought, but anyway, games. So I used to pirate every fucking game that I ever played, and I stopped doing that when Steam came out, because Steam is fucking incredible. It makes it so easy, dude. All the sales and shit, you got the summer sale, you got the holiday sale around Christmas, Black Friday area.
Started on Steam sales.
Dude, it's fucking insane.
I bought Skyrim Legendary Edition recently, and the very next day it came out at some sort of Black Friday sale. So it went down from like $60 right down to about $4. I was unbelievably livid.
That's how it goes sometimes, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, Steam doesn't have a policy like some places have a policy where if the price drops. Like, I think it might be Amazon that has this, where if the price drops, they within a certain amount of time, like 2 weeks after you bought it, they compensate you. If you notice and email them, they compensate you the cost, the difference in price that you would have paid if you bought it after the sale. Yeah, Steam doesn't have anything like that, and maybe they should. But there's no real...
I'm pretty much the same, though. I used to pirate a lot of my media, and then I got Spotify and Netflix and Steam, and suddenly I'm just buying it all. Now, that's probably a product of the fact that I went from pirating everything as a student up to buying everything like when I got into a full-time job and I can afford to do it. But even so, it just seemed that the prices, when Steam came out, the prices of games suddenly went from being like $60 all the way down to like 10 or 12.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you
games that
catch
I would
things on
never
sale,
have considered buying before, like Banished, which was in like alpha release when I bought it. Suddenly, I was a little bit more willing to splash out on something that wasn't quite finished yet.
And you know, there's I lost what I was talking about, but you're in London, man. Speaking of Spotify, it's not gaming related at all, but you guys got Spotify like a year and a half before anyone here in America legally got Spotify. I actually had, when I found out about Spotify, I got a friend in England, this woman whose username was Shax, who I would really love to get in contact with again because she was pretty cool, but I don't know her whereabouts or anything. I got her to use her address and my email to sign me up for a Spotify account because for the longest time there was licensing issues with the artists and whatnot. They couldn't come to the U.S. And I was so happy I got my Spotify account. It worked because they thought I was in England, even though my IP is very clearly a US IP. And then, like, it stopped working, and I'm like, well, that sucks. And then, like, I don't know, 8-9 months later, it came out in the US after it got bought by Facebook. But, dude, that's kind of the new thing with media, isn't it? I mean, we're very much the post-Napster generation. All of us here in this chat and anyone watching and probably anyone in Gamergate, we are very much of the mentality that it's the fucking internet. You should, you can... money is not that easy to come by. I mean, sure, we have jobs and we have disposable income, but you don't want to drop $15 on a DVD if you don't know it's going to be any good. You don't want to drop $12 on a movie ticket if you don't know it's going to be any good. You don't want to drop $18 on a new CD if you don't know it's going to be any good. And you definitely don't want to drop $60 on a goddamn video game if you don't know it's going to be good or not. And that's why video game journalism is so important. We rely on these people to tell us, or we did. I mean, there's a shift to the YouTube people. But we rely on these people to tell us whether the game is good or not and is unbiased of a way as possible. We want to know what the gameplay is like, what the quality of the graphics are like, and the everything like that. We don't care about people's fucking personal political bias for or against the creative expression. We just want to know if the game's goddamn good or not, and we'll form our own political biases after we play it based on the storyline and shit.
I mean, we've definitely become the on-demand generation, haven't we? I guess.
For sure.
And as a consequence of that, nobody's going to pay $30 for a game on Steam, knowing full well that it doesn't cost that much to make and to host and to distribute. When you were buying the special edition with the night vision goggles and the cool tin with the poster and all the other, fancy bits that you used to get as part of pre-order games, you could kind of, make the, I think that was Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, the special edition. You got night vision goggles with that, which was amazing.
That was Black Ops, I think. The original Black
Ops?
Ops, or maybe Modern Warfare 2, where you got night vision goggles.
Yeah, I remember.
I think it was Modern Warfare 2 because Black Ops had the RCXD, the little remote control car.
Yes.
But I wanted that, dude, for I think it was Modern Warfare 2. I wanted those night vision goggles so fucking bad, and I didn't get them because it was like $180 for the collector's edition.
But when there was a collector's edition and you got something with it, you could understand the price and you had something tangible as a result. But when they moved to what's it called? Digital download. That's it. Digital download distribution.
DLC.
Yeah, I mean the best you could get was a PDF of some concept art, maybe the OST, and if you're very, very lucky, exclusive access to DLC, which you probably have to pay for anyway.
Yeah, and there's a big problem with you're just talking about digital distribution in general, which is Steam and Origin and Uplay and all that, which is the future. And I think it's a great thing. I think, I love with Steam the fact that I can sign into anyone's goddamn computer anywhere in the world, and I can log into my account and download the games that I own and play them. And I don't have to worry about, do I have the disc? Is the disc going to work? Is it scratched? Blah, blah, blah. I just fucking click on the shit and install it, and 15 minutes later I can play it. That's fucking amazing to me, and that's part of why I stopped pirating games, because Steam makes it so fucking easy and amazing to buy games legit.
That's very much a function of the market. You know,
for
there
sure.
were massive amounts of people downloading games and really sucking money out of the games industry. So they had to evolve, or they were going to go bankrupt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and GOG is another one. I'd like to pimp out GOG real quick. I haven't used them yet. However, they signed a deal with LucasArts, or whatever the current incarnation of LucasArts is, because LucasArts got disbanded, but Lucasfilm is owned by Disney now. They got a lot of the old not a lot. They got like 6 of the old Star Wars games that were made by the LucasArts release, and 2 of those are the original X-Wing and the original TIE Fighter, and that excites me to no fucking end because those are the best space flight sims, space combat sims that I have ever fucking played, and they were released in like 1997 and 1999 or something like that. And I have never seen a game that has come close to being as awesome as those. Where there was one free-to-play game that I can't remember the name of that was really big for a while. There's EVE Online, which I haven't played. Star Citizen is one that hasn't come out yet.
Oh, amazing! They've got Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Roller Coaster Tycoon is not a space combat sim.
I love Roller Coaster Tycoon.
You know what?
They got Caesar 3 as well. That is good.
Are you on GOG.com? Is that what you've gone to?
I am. I'm just searching through their list of
right
games.
On. GOG.com is good. I'd like to pimp out GOG.com, and eventually I plan to go back on all these podcasts or fucking live streams that I'm doing. They're not podcasts, but I plan to go back on all these live streams and add annotations for links to shit that's relevant to whatever we're talking about at the time. Someone remind me about that if I haven't done it in like a couple weeks, because I promise I'm trying to do that. But GOG.com is good, dude. They have a lot of older games. They had Deus Ex, the original one, before Steam added it. There's all kinds of stuff that's like on the sort of, like on the edge of being abandonware. Like maybe the studio doesn't exist anymore, or maybe the game is completely out of print and you can't legally buy it anywhere. But it's new enough that people don't consider it just like, fuck it, anyone download it. And GOG has a lot of those games, and the advantage of GOG over Steam is GOG.com, that they have in-house programmers who will work to make sure the games are compatible with as many operating systems as possible. That's what it sounds like, fucking GOG advertising. Dude, I'd fucking, if GOG.com contacted me, if this stream somehow became like big enough to have like advertisers or something, I would love to advertise for GOG, because I really appreciate them, even though I haven't bought anything from them yet. I know that they work, like Steam just basically puts out the most recent retail version of the product, and they will work with you to some limited extent. If shit doesn't work right, they definitely won't give you a refund. They're way against that, but they'll work with you to a limited extent. They'll say, hey, we have this patch that might fix shit. But GOG.com, they test shit to a great extent to make sure that it's going to work on the modern computers, on the fucking Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Mac OS. What are we on? We're past Mountain Lion. I don't know what the newest version of OS 10 is for Macs, but GOG.com, they have people who work to make sure that shit actually works with most modern hardware, and they will wrap things in like custom DOSBox wrappers and shit. It's good shit. Cassie is back. Hi, Cassie. We're just about to wrap up, I think. I mean, if you guys have anything else to talk about, I really. It's fine with me. I'm a little bit buzzed. So, like, we were talking about grand old games, GOG.com, and really digital distribution in general. Although the sort of precursor to that, or the sort of overarching theme there, is we were talking about how this generation has grown up on sort of, God, I don't know if instant gratification would be the right word, but we want to be able to try things before we buy it. We want to be able to see if something is worth our money. We're not okay with going and spending money on. Money's hard to come by. We're not okay with spending money on something that we have no idea if we're going to appreciate it. We want to find out if we're going to appreciate it, and then support the creator after we find out by throwing them some of our money.
I mean, it's on-demand culture, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never been a fan of like testing a game before I played it, but I've never gone to a convention before, so
What about music and movies, though? I mean,
I've never really been one to like keep up with modern anything. Like I'm still playing PlayStation 2 games and listening to Jason Mraz from like 2001.
Jason Mraz is in the old school at all.
So I'm very much stuck in the past with when it comes to like games and stuff. But I still play modern games. It's just I'm not as in the loop as it because I don't play console games. I'm more of a PC gamer when it comes to modern games.
PC Master Race, man. Everyone else is plebeians. I don't know who, like, I've never knowingly listened to any of Jason Mraz's music. I just looked him up, and it doesn't list any particular songs that he's done on Google. I don't know, Google is being weird. Like, usually it lists a list of songs. It says that he's doing something in China on tomorrow.
Yeah, he's always doing things, like, very, like, human, like, I forget what it is, but he's very into, like, participating.
Is he the indie sort of like
he's the guy who wears a fedora but actually works it well and doesn't look like a fucking creeper. He's just very like what you would see as like a modern hippie, I guess, kind of like with the khaki cargo pants and the white t-shirt and just like a fucking fedora hat.
Dude, you're in the Bay Area, so what's up, man?
I wanted to speak about somebody from YouTube. So there's a lot of feminists there, and this feminist is complaining about catcalling. She's all like, "Oh, catcalling is not a compliment. It is obnoxious. It makes me want to split somebody's head with a machete." I was like, "What?" I was like, "Really? To that extreme?"
That's nuts, dude. That's pure emotional impulsiveness.
That's so crazy because I get catcalled. I live near Oakland, so I've been to Oakland and I've walked down the street and like I've had guys who are just lingering in their cars, just waiting for someone to walk by. They've like just opened their doors after I walk by and be like, "Hey baby, what's your name?" And I just tell them I have somewhere to be. And like last time it happened, he was like, "All right then, I just want you to know that I'd fuck the shit out of you." And I was like, "Okay."
They're raping you with their male gaze.
Yeah, you just like, okay, I went on my merry way and I just avoided him. I don't go on social media and be like, "I almost got raped today."
Yeah, like nobody cares.
Well, if you were a proper feminist, you would have said, "I actually got raped today."
I actually got raped today. Like, I literally almost got raped.
Literal rape.
It was so close. He was touching me with his words and trying to get me into his car with his words. It was so close. I was almost in his doors.
What the fuck?
Actual feminist logic.
Feminists don't have logic.
Oh,
SJWs don't have logic.
They do though. You know what? That's those generalizations though. That's what I was talking about. Because not everyone. There is legitimacy to like some first and second wave feminism. It's the modern, not just the third wave feminists, but the modern SJWs that are the ones that are. They're the extremists.
Dude, like I go on Facebook and on YouTube, and like the majority of the stuff that I see coming from feminists, it's BS.
But you're seeing like. It's like the Westboro Baptist Church versus mainstream Christianity. There's a large group of people who loosely identify with those ideals who don't really push the extremist aspects.
Well, actually, not just the Westboro Baptist Church, because all Baptist church are crazy. Like, I was on...
Oh, for sure. I was raised Southern Baptist. I have seen that shit firsthand. The pastor that the church I used to go to, holy shit. That's the biggest reason I became atheist. You know, George Carlin had a joke, as well as a good friend of mine back in middle school. A very similar joke where it's like, people ask, why did I become an atheist? And it's, well, because I went to fucking Catholic school for middle school and high school. That's why I'm an atheist. Because when you're exposed to that shit firsthand, you see a lot of the inanity of it. And that's the thing, though, to me, is a lot of the people aren't exposed that closely to it. Emmanuel. I mean, a lot of people, they hear a few sound bites and they say, or a few general principles, and they say, you know what, yeah, I agree with that. You know, women need to have an equal place in society, and they don't actually they don't actually know what the activism in the modern SJW movement or the SJW movement really is.
Well, that's the thing. They don't know these people. Like when they talk about equality, like they don't know how these people use the term equality. And plus, there has been equality like everywhere. There has been women in the game industry. There has been women in, I don't know, engineering fields. But they want more. They want like everything.
They want to be
without,
more
like equal responsibility.
I think we need to make a distinction here between quote unquote feminists and feminists.
Yeah, well,
Because-
I always, whenever I talk about feminists, I always put, like, SJW feminists, I put it in quotes because they're not real feminists, because I actually genuinely feel bad for the actual feminists fighting for their rights in, you know, third world countries where they don't have any.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
know, we
there's
have people here complaining about getting fucking catcalled or getting called mean things on Twitter. We have people in the Middle East who are getting their fucking clitorises cut off, and they're equivocating that like it's fucking
They're
evil.
getting stoned for trying to leave. They're getting
not in the
murdered
good
or
way.
raped for trying to leave this like very like bad relationship that they have, where their husbands are abusing them or the people around them are taking advantage of them, and they want to leave.
They're
and they
getting
get
raped.
murdered.
Yeah, they're getting raped, and then they're getting murdered for adultery. Like, are you
Yeah.
fucking kidding me? And
Yeah,
people
but,
here have the audacity. Now, it's not like, you know, it's not like there's not legitimate issues in culture in general, but it's just so, it's professional
Backwards.
victim kind of thing. And yes, it is backwards. And it's not like you shouldn't be able to talk about more minor issues, more, I guess, first world problems just because third world problems exist. But it's like, grow some fucking perspective. You know, you're acting like fucking you being shit on for having shitty opinions, and you happen to be a woman. Like, that's the fucking worst thing in the world. Fuck you, Brianna Wu. Fucking, you know,
If
there's
that's the
people
worst
that,
issue they have.
For a second.
you know, there's a lot of other worse shit going on in the world.
Yeah, well, I bet, like, if you go up to, like, Brianna Wu or Anita Sarkeesian or, like, since you're such a big advocate on feminists and women saving themselves, why don't you go to, you know, Israel or, you know, wherever they're having, like, these
True
like,
fact.
these
I would like to
women...
mention this real quick about Israel, because Israel's a bad example for what you're about to say, because Israel is very Jewish. I mean, of course, fucking Israel.
Yeah.
But Israel is actually, as I understand it, and someone can please correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understand it, Israel is pretty sort of racist. You cannot become a full Israeli citizen unless you can prove Jewish heritage, which is kind of nuts to me. Like they talk.
Well,
I don't know what they talk about actually.
Well,
but,
I was just saying because I've seen things about, like, women fighting, like troops, women fighting for their actual rights.
Well,
dude, IDF soldiers, the female IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, a lot of them are really hot, and I may be I'm seeing a small sample of like women that people have taken pictures of and posted on, I don't know, fucking Reddit or wherever I find the shit, but I big fan of the IDF and Israeli girls, and really I don't know, fucking my tastes are very wide. I like most women.
Well, on Israel, I will say that there are Zionists there. That they're the most racist one. That's we don't need to generalize even there, because Israel is divided between the Zionists and the normal people like you and me, you know.
And there's the people that control the country. They're sort of, I don't know if they're actually legally a theocracy, but the religious leaders hold a lot of power.
You have instances in Israel where the Orthodox neighborhoods quite literally walk outside, you know, the I don't know what you call them, more moderate, mainstream Jewish settlements, and just scream abuse at kids as they're going to school. And the thing is, you know, you're a whore, you're this, you're that, for not adhering to the orthodoxy. So there's definitely an element of sort of
there's that anywhere
that goes on there.
I mean, anytime there's religious people, there's people, or fucking, it doesn't even matter about religious. Anytime there's people that adhere to any particular ideology, there's crazies who fucking start shouting at children over shit. But it's fucking stupid. But I'd like to say real quick that fuck it, I lost it. I'm kind of drunk, guys. I think it was Emmanuel that was gonna say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna add to that, to the whole feminism thing. That I mean, if it's not really that bad right now, then why are most of the young women rejecting it, or why are most of the young women saying that it's too aggressive towards males? I mean, like, I freaking switch on the TV, and there's particular shows where I see like misandric comments here and there, and it's just like really offensive and really annoying.
Well, a lot of it don't make any sense too, you know? Like,
women can't be sexist because we're women, right? So
yeah. Just like white people
can't be racist as long as it's about men. Because if you make a sexist comment about a woman, you're obviously a misogynist. But misandrous isn't a real thing because obviously Google says it's not a real thing.
Yeah, just like minorities can't be racist because racism is only when the majority is oppressing the minority. It's fucking ridiculous, and I hate this so fucking much. This whole insistence on like grouping people into subsets, and like it really is the oppression Olympics, and it's you
is the basic.
It's like having something to identify with, but enough to make you not like other people. Like if you're just a human, what kind of human are you? Are you special? No, you're one of 11 billion or however many people are on Earth, right?
Yeah, I think we're almost.
But if you're like a dogkin, freaking trans octopus,
turtlekin, turtlekin. From Tumblr in Action, there's a woman that gets posted a lot who considers herself to be a turtlekin, and she posts a lot about how, or the posts that reach Tumblr in Action on Reddit are about how her family doesn't understand that she's a turtle inside, and how she just crawls around on the floor. That's the thing. These fucking Tumblrinas, that's what it is to me. More than SJWs in particular, it's the fucking Tumblrina SJWs, the people that feels are more important than reals. And fucking upsets, it bothers me so much. And my feels are greatly hurt by this reels of these people who are fucking, they get all pissed off at you and want to like fucking stab you in the face because you don't magically know their preferred pronouns when they randomly interject themselves into a conversation.
I hate it so much when people don't like my made-up term. Like, how do they not know what I made up? Like, seriously, are they not like, what, psychic kin or whatever? Are they not...
Like, reality has to bend to your idea. The rest of the world has to bend to your idea of what's right instead of you learning to accommodate yourself and adjust to the rest of the world. Fuck that shit. I mean,
also, it's about learning how to take a joke.
Exactly.
Like, seriously.
The same like the media. It's like so one-sided. Like not everything in the media is 100% accurate. Just letting you know. Like there's gonna be some sort of, bias in it, that they're just gonna side with, oh, they killed like a few women in this place, but they don't mention anything about the men killed.
Well, there's, sorry, I'm gonna say something real quick to that. There's bias inherent in any media. Anyone who has a megaphone, basically, in a soapbox is pushing their own bias, or whether they're doing it consciously or not. If they're not just purely presenting facts, any sort of editorialization they do, or even editing of what facts are presented, or what way the facts are presented, but if it's a case of television or any sort of video, what order the video and the audio are presented in, there's going to be some bias. There's going to be.
Or how come they don't talk about the SJWs and what the freaking articles they post about
they do sometimes
gamers and about men in general? How come they don't freaking show that?
Well, some of that happens, but it's.
We do.
I think it's a clickbait thing. It's a sensationalism thing, and honestly, the media is going to stop giving a fuck real quick. Here in America, which is where all this shit is based so far, all the media attention that I'm aware of. I mean, we have a couple major articles in the BBC, but most of the stuff is in America. There's it's an election year. November 2nd. November 4th. No, November 2nd. This Tuesday is an election. It's an off year. It's not a presidential election, but it's electing like a third of the people in the House of Representatives and some random senators and all kinds of. Or I might have that backwards. It's been a long time since civics class, but there's a lot of shit going on there. There's fucking a rocket blew up and killed a dude, and one of the SpaceX rockets killed a dude in like Virginia. And the day before that, another rocket blew up that was unmanned. There's a lot of shit going on. The media is going to completely stop giving any semblance of a fuck about Gamergate real quick. We're still going to be here, still caring about video games. We're still going to be here caring about ethics and game journalism. And these anti-Gamergate people are going to have jack shit, because they have jack shit anyway. They don't have any sort of real substance to their points.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that they would not hold up to. You know, they are their own collective. You know, they are not going away. And I would add to that we all believe of their core principle. We all believe that we should be all treated equally, right?
Ostensibly, yes, but I think they.
Often. Let me add to that. We should be all treated equally, okay, as a collective. But how do you treat someone that you love and someone that you hate as an individual? You know, how do you apply that as a policy?
My response. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I actually happen to know what he's talking about because I happen to have studied at the Ayn Rand Institute not too long ago, in which this very question came up.
Wait, there's an Ayn Rand Institute? Where is the Ayn Rand Institute?
The Ayn Rand Institute is in California.
No shit. Because I've read, a couple of Ayn Rand's books. I didn't know that she actually had a fucking objectivism is bullshit in my opinion. I didn't know she actually had an institute. What the fuck is that? Like is it full on college? What are we talking about here?
Okay, can someone summarize what this is? I've never heard of this.
I don't want to go off on a whole
maybe
tangent about it.
I don't know. Fuck it. We're at midnight my time, but I'm willing to talk for as long as you guys are willing to talk.
Yeah, it's only 9 here.
Well, it's only 4 a.m. here.
It's only here too.
Only 4 a.m.
Only 4 a.m.
Anyway, so Ayn Rand.
Yeah.
I don't know. This dude studied. I forgot your name. Intransigent. What's your real name, guy? What's your first name?
Chris.
Chris, right on. Hey, me too.
That's way easier.
So, Chris studied at the Ayn Rand Institute. I figure he can probably give a better definition than I can. Although I have read Anthem and most of Atlas Shrugged, and I liked Anthem. Actually,
I like Anthem. Anthem's good.
Anthem is a good book. But objectivism is a general philosophy. Is basically an excuse to be a selfish asshole, in my opinion.
Well, then you clearly haven't understood it, because the whole point is that if you're an asshole to people, they won't want anything to do with you, and you need other people in order to live a rich and fulfilling life. That's I mean, the whole point is to be rationally selfish, which is to say that you think of yourself first, because that is what your life is the root of all of your values. It's not possible for you to hold anything healthily above your own life, with the possible exception of your children. But you can't be rationally self-interested if you're kicking old ladies down the stairs, because very soon nobody's going to want anything to do with you, and you need the barista to serve you coffee. You need your landlord to want to lease that apartment to you. So if you go around being a douche to people by lying, cheating, stealing, and murdering, you're not going to live a very successful life. And that's the whole point about the rational self-interest bit. Anyway, long story short, the Ayn Rand Institute was set up after Ayn Rand died by a couple of her students to study the impact of various concepts of her ideology, which was objectivism, in mainstream culture. And it does an outreach program every summer to students to give away free copies of her books and stuff. And anyway, the reason I brought it up to begin with was because the point which Magic Bubblehead was raising was about it's not possible for you to love your spouse, your child, in the same way that it's not possible for you to love your worst enemy. You can't treat them both the same, because to do so devalues your child or spouse. If you have to love everyone equally, then it's not really love. It goes back to this issue of compulsory love, which is
you can't have it both
a contradiction in terms.
And that's why it's equal opportunity. it's not actual equality in the sense that we're sort of all literally equal in everything, but it's that we all have equal opportunity and equal, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, there's a stark contrast between equalization of opportunity versus equalization of outcome. There's a massive difference between
and the thing is, go ahead.
There's a massive difference between having the ability to go to an interview and being treated like any other candidate, and going to an interview and being hired because gay people are underrepresented in that business, or because they want more women at a certain level. You know, one is a very correct and proper thing to do. It's a very merititious thing to do. The other is much more kind of token, as a token gesture.
Well, in a sense, it's like the literal sense, you know, giving equal opportunity to everyone. But equal opportunity, you have to seize your opportunity. You can't just let it pass, you know.
Coming from the UK, we have this problem all the time where the BBC is terrified of being accused of imbalance. So they always give equal time to an opponent of whatever the particular topic is. Now, when you're talking about something like, when you're talking about something like teaching evolution in schools, that means that you then have to find the most insane people around who believe in, I don't know, the flying spaghetti monster or whatever, to come in on.
You know what? I have been blessed by his appendage, and I'm
oppressing the spaghetti people in the room. However, the point still stands. You have to give time to people who you have to give equal value and weight to the truth as you do to lies. And when you do that, you devalue the truth, and you stop seeing it for what it is, which is a practical necessity.
However, I disagree with. Actually, I'd like to. I think it was David who was just about to say something about the BBC. Go ahead.
Yeah, the BBC doesn't actually do that though. We know this from like the whole thing that Sargon of Akkad just like posted. Sargon of Akkad had a 15-minute interview with someone from the BBC, which when they actually aired that interview of 15 minutes of I love that Sargon actually posted his recording of it, because he completely controlled that whole thing. This was not an interview. This was an inquisition that Sargon was making of them. But on the BBC side of it, they put 45 seconds of it.
But that goes back to the point about equal opportunity rather than equal outcome. They would very well turn around and say, well, we interviewed someone from the opposing view and we've posted excerpts summarizing his position, whether they've misrepresented him on their own political grounds or not. This is what we see all the time. The BBC gets accused of left-wing bias all the time, and so what they do is they find the most crackpot right-winger they can find, record 30 seconds of him being a nut job, edited it so that he sounds even worse, and then apply it, upload it to the very bottom of an article about some, ridiculous nonsense about the NHS, and then say, but look, we are balanced, we have so-and-so commenting on it, and that's how they get around it.
I would say the opposite to that. I wouldn't call it equality, I would call it unequal advantage over your opponent, just to make people biased and then buy your view instead of theirs.
Yeah, I mean, I never noticed how prevalent it was until I started speaking to some Americans about things like healthcare, and they said, but your healthcare is free, and I'm like, no, it's not free. It's never been free. It is not free. It's paid for by a tax every month called national insurance, which we have to pay whether we use the NHS or not. Yeah. It's not free. It's never been free. There is no such thing as free healthcare. Doctors, nurses, and surgeons don't work for free.
It works the same way in Canada,
It works the same way everywhere. They say they have quote-unquote free healthcare. It's a con. You're paying for someone else's healthcare right now.
The thing with the equality issue, the whole forced equality, we're actually seeing some issues with that here. And this comes from Christina Hofsummers. She was talking about what
Love her.
They're trying to force this equality, and they're completely they've got this Quixote mentality.
Yeah.
And like the worst part about it is like a lot of people don't get what it means. But here's what happens. So trade schools training, and let's say like one of the schools that she was actually talking about was Aviation High School, which isn't that far from me. So they have Aviation High School, and most of the guys that go to the school to like the mechanics and stuff, and they have like other vocational training that women are into, and like I'm not trying to sound stereotypical here. This is just the women are going for like hairdresser or some kind of culinary thing. Now there
Well, it's
is
not stereotypes, it's biology.
well, no, hold on. There is bleed off though. There is a blending. Some guys are doing like the hairdressing and the culinary, and some girls are going and doing the aviation. They're doing the mechanics, but not enough to fill federal standards. Federal standard 50-50. In other words, they mandate that 50% of the class that's taking mechanics has to be women, has to be men. And if they can't hold on, if they can't do that, they have to prove, the school has to prove to the federal government, well, dude, look, we tried. We absolutely tried to get more women into the mechanics. They're just not into it. So here's the thing. It's like they're trying to force this equality, but at the same time, they're basically going to force or have to force women to take jobs that they don't want to take.
Yeah.
Or they'll close down the program. And now here's the messed up part. They'll close down a mechanics program that had 25% female or women weren't into mechanics. But now what have you done to those 20, let's say it was a class of 20 kids. What are you gonna say to those 5 girls? It's like, oh, because you girls are like,
I heard this exact argument earlier today with somebody who was talking about because I picked up on Twitter that the social justice warriors are conflagrating women represented in video games, women working in the video games industry, and women gamers as one kind of homogenous women in games blob. And I picked up on that, and I said, even if I accept the premise that women are underrepresented in all 3 of those categories, you've still yet to present me with a rational argument as to why that's necessarily a bad thing. And the only thing they could come back with is diversity is better than non-diversity. Would you prefer it if there were no women? And I said, I don't care if there are women in particular aspects of gaming or whatever. Well, they should be there.
No. They're flat out saying. They're flat out saying that there is a conspiracy going on to keep women out of this industry. Like, this is the argument that they're making, that the industry is actively keeping them out of it. And it's like, well, what proof do you have of it? And the proof that they bring up is Brianna Wu, Zoe Quinn. And it's like, it gets to the point where it's like, okay, aside from these 3 names that keep popping up, name me someone else that has been like on the shit end of this, or apologies, I don't want to name me someone who's been on the the odd end of the stick on this whole Gamergate thing, aside from these 3 women that media has introduced to you, and no one can. And it's like, all right, so you're basically making this generalized assumption because someone told you, oh, well, the video game, when you look at all the people making video games, only like less than 30% of them are women. So that means that there's obviously an active element within video game like production that's keeping women out of this, versus women just aren't interested in making video games. They'd rather be like, doing something else. They'd rather, of their own volition. Like, Forbes actually just thing article where they looked at women in college versus men in college and what was the most popular subjects that men and women were taking. And it was even Stevens in terms of finance. As many women were into the ideas of as pursuing a degree in finance as men were into pursuing a degree in finance. And then the 2 of them diverge greatly. And what women are studying, you have to go to like the 6th place on the list before you even getting to like graphic design. So that means like from finance, all the way down to number 6 on the list with its graphic design, they're not studying anything that will give them any entrance into the video game field. Now, I'm basically saying it's like, look, this isn't a good thing or this isn't the bad thing. It's just the way it is. We want more women into video games. We definitely do want more women into video games because women right now in America are the dominant consumer demographic. And there is a specific aesthetic that women have in the way they draw, the way they create art, that appeals not just to women but to men too. It does appeal to a mass audience. Just look at DeviantArt and just look at the female, like EI, and she has so many followers. Her art just basically speaks to so many people, and they are rare commodities that are going to get gobbled up like really, really quickly. So I think it's the exact opposite. There is no open conspiracy to keep women out of gaming. There is an open conspiracy to get women into gaming. We want them here because we need to attract the money that the female demographic represents, which in America right now is absolutely huge. White women in America are the dominant consumer demographic.
For sure, though. I agree with that. And a big problem with what the anti-Gamergate people are doing is they're actually driving people out of gaming. There was a study that came out a week or so back, or at least I saw it on Kotaku in action, I don't know, 1 week, 2 weeks back, that was talking about how similar things have happened in the past, and a lot of the sort of this narrative of, wow, gamers are misogynist and people want to keep female gamers out of the industry and female game developers out of the industry. A lot of that really it convinces new people young adult women who are coming up into the industry, who might be wanting to come up into the industry. It convinces them to not do it. But it's like, wow, if everyone's gonna hate on me for being a woman, I'm gonna go fucking do something else. They are actually actively harming their own. They're working at, like so many people in America, at least, and probably across the world, they are actively working against their own best interests by doing what they're doing. They talk about how they want to have more women in the industry. They want the industry to be safer for women. Most of the successful women in the industry actually say that they've never felt oppressed. They feel very okay. They actually have, most men in the industry go out of their way to not offend them.
I heard exactly the same thing fairly recently, where a woman was in not necessarily this industry, but in engineering, which is kind of my discipline, and they were saying it's more aggravating when they're not treated the same because they're women. Like when men intentionally hold back phrases or don't treat them quite the same in asking them out if they want to come out for beers after work and all the rest of it, because they're being treated as women. To them it's a non-issue, and when you hear these phrases about, oh well, we want to get more women into gaming, and women should or whatever minority it is should be better represented here, just ask why. If there were a marketable advantage for a company to have more women on its games development staff, it would do it. That's what companies do. They search for market advantage. The fact that you as a consumer can't tell whether the games developer that drew the gun that you're holding was male or female, I think speaks to the fact that to a consumer it really doesn't matter. It might matter from some kind of abstruse philosophical perspective if you're talking about rounding out the numbers, but the only people that ever make the delineation in gamers or games developers between men and women, minorities and majorities, are ironically the social justice warriors who are supposedly campaigning for equality. I mean, that's utter crap, of course. They're always campaigning on behalf of an assumed minority and generally
quote unquote equality.
It's equality used as a buzzword to mask all sorts of inequality and hatred and discrimination.
What we want is to be more equal. Like I said earlier, like I've heard that a lot. It's like these women want to be more equal than men.
You know what they say. Everyone is equal, but some people are more equal than others.
Yeah.
Another thing is that.
I want to jump in.
Go on. Go on.
Alright, so think about it. So men and women are different, right? Biologically. They're completely different. Do you agree?
Wait, you
Well,
mean
we're
women
not
don't have
completely
penises?
different. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean,
genetically
as in, like,
speaking, we're
their
not
mentality
different
and the
Physiologically,
that much.
I guess physiologically yes, but mentally they're all the same.
Yeah, well,
Not
I mean,
quite. Not quite the same, but similar, sure.
well, there's,
There isn't.
I don't
I mean, there isn't
know.
as much as a difference as I would make to change my behavior based on it.
Right.
Yeah. But will you treat someone that you are interested sexually by and someone that you don't give a fuck?
In the same way, in different ways.
In the
Oh,
same
I
way?
just didn't
Oh.
someone just talk about this and like treating someone that you love the same way? I think I heard that somewhere.
That was earlier. I think that was Victor and Emmanuel maybe, but
Yeah.
I disagree with the idea that yes, physiologically men and women are certainly different. I mean that's fucking obvious.
Well, yeah,
Mentally,
'cause what the-
psychologically, they are also different because to me, and I know not everyone agrees with this. Yeah, I'm a former psychology student. I didn't get my degree or anything. I can't call myself like a psychologist, but you know, I'm very much not a dualist, a sort of a like monist. I can't remember the term. Basically, mind and body are the same. You know, I mean, things that are physiological, things that are biological effects on you are direct. What happens to you psychologically is a direct reflection of that, in my eyes. So. Those physiological differences manifest into psychological differences, and there are differences. Not everyone is equally mentally capable in all the same ways, and sometimes the barriers are genetic. A lot of times.
No argument from me.
There's no specific like difference between men and women. There's a difference between. There's like a range of differences between men and women.
For sure.
There are some women that are dense as a fucking rock or a diamond, and then there are some men who are the same, but then. You know, it's always different because there's.
It's on an individual level. You can't be prejudiced against people. You can't say, "Oh, that's a woman. They're going to be such and such," because you don't know. Unless you're talking about that person has a vagina or that person has a dick, you don't know beyond that until you actually interact with them. And that's why it's bullshit to generalize and talk like, you know, well, all men are this or all women are this. It's no, fuck that. People are people, and everyone is an individual. There are certain correlations that we can draw. But don't judge someone before you actually know anything about them, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, I really understand that. But here's the thing, that these people are saying, okay, you know, we're the same.
I'll be right back.
Let's push equality. So what they're doing is they're ignoring the person's choice. They're saying, okay, we need more numbers here, so let's push them. Even though that's not their primary choice or career. So they're not going to enjoy their job there. And in the name of equality, you know, just for the numbers, not because of the passion of the person. And that's pretty screwed up, and that's not equality whatsoever.
If you ever have the if you ever get the opportunity, check out a book called Anthem by Ayn Rand. The main character is called Equality 72521, and the whole premise of it is that society has got to such a collective extent that you are now forbidden from personal pronouns. You're not even allowed to say the word I. You have to say we. You are not allowed to think for yourself. You are allocated a job in response to whatever the common good is. And it's really about this particular character finding a piece of knowledge and discovering that actually having something of their own is pretty good. I think, to go back to your earlier point, some of the most frustrating generalizations people make are often rooted in half-truths about the differences between men and women. So the fact that women can bear children, for instance, and do tend to have less testosterone, and do tend to have more estrogen that tends to affect their behavior in a much more caring, slightly more compassionate way, is often extended and taken well beyond its bounds of reason to being, oh, well, all women are just emotional, baggage.
And history, too, takes a part.
And all men, all men are just savage brutes because they all want to beat stuff up because they have more testosterone. It's almost to go into this kind of creepy eugenics that we saw, the Nazis kind of play with. Well, you two are identical twins. You must be
the same in every facet, and you must think the same, and there must be some kind of weird psychic bond between you. It's creepy, the extent to which what you are dictates
here's the freaking thing, though.
what you should think.
Here's the thing. If you analyze the amount of people that go into like the high-risk jobs, they're most likely male. And then when you look at the least risky jobs, most of them are female. It's just fact.
I mean, a lot of those studies and stuff is just bullshit. I went into IT where I was told from a very young age that people that go into IT are ugly, antisocial, spotty white men. And I got there, and my first manager was a woman. Most of my team were women. Most of them were more competent than their male engineers. They weren't there as token gestures. They were there because they were excellent engineers. Most of the people I work with now, men, women, different races, different religions, all the rest of it. The whole idea that you can pigeonhole how somebody behaves based on what they are is absurd. It's utterly absurd. It doesn't bear any relation.
I think that the modern form of counterculture is Gamergate, because it's really about individualism versus put people in categories, you know. Like
for sure.
Yeah, it's like the movie Footloose.
Yeah.
It's basically the plot of Footloose or Demolition Man, you know. Have you seen the movie Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes?
I would love to be. I haven't actually. I
Really?
should. In fact,
Wow.
I'm gonna download that movie right now. I'm gonna put it on my file server.
Basically, people, they're politically correct people that live on the city, and you can swear, and you got ticket for swearing, and basically the guys the guys that like to swear and eat burgers and do more dirty stuff are in the sewers, you know.
It's a
So,
super stratified society in which I won't ruin the plot for you, but it's become so sanitized and politically correct that it becomes a massive vulnerable target for the underhand elements of society that then go and ruin this utopia.
All right, since we're talking about movies, you guys, I'm gonna wrap this up in about 10 minutes. But what are you guys' favorite movies? Because I'm sitting here connecting. I'm remoting into my file server right now. I'm gonna download some shit. What? Oh shit, my file server's off for some reason. What's happening here? Oh, never mind, I have the wrong IP. What would, like, if there's one movie or a couple movies that you think everyone should see in their lifetime, what would they be?
We should do a 3-movie stuff like the games, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I'm cool with that.
Well, I definitely really liked Elysium, and like the messages it showed just like the top 1%, they get all the medical care and they isolate themselves from the poor, and they have like the poor are dying and they're sick and they're the majority and they get zero health care. Like, it's very poor, and then the rich and wealthy, they get to live forever because they have better health care because they can afford it. And I just thought it was like,
and they end up rebelling, right? Like, there's that whole zombie thing or whatever the fuck.
It wasn't no, I think that was District 9, but I think it was the same director.
No, it was Elysium, because District 9 I was a big fan of. District 9 I actually pirated, and then I went and the movie was still in theaters. I bought.
Copy. Oops, did I say that? No, I don't. NSA, sorry.
They already know. They're in
It's
your
not
shit.
online, so
your hard drive.
I didn't do it. I just received it.
No, but Elysium, as I remember, because I watched that movie, I swear, that was the movie that was like, it was a spaceship, and like, dude wakes up and he doesn't know what the fuck is going on.
That's Pandorum.
That is Pandorum. Okay, so
yeah, no, I was like, what are you talking about? No, it's like Matt Damon. He's like a poor, like orphan, and like he used to steal cars and stuff, and then he works at like he works for this really rich man who owns a company that makes like these androids that basically abused him. They broke his arm and stuff when he made a joke to them. So he's working miserable jobs, and like he he has to go in and they like use radiation to clean these robots, and he like no spoilers, and he gets doused with the radiation thing, and then so he has only a certain amount of time to live, and that's when he was like, I need to get to Elysium because they have these things that cure you of everything you have.
Right
And,
on.
like, yeah, so it was basically it's very. I really liked it. I enjoyed it, and it was just really well put together, and I like sci-fi
I'm
movies.
not sure if I have that movie. I gotta look in my folders here.
Oh god.
Dude, Plex, you guys. Plex is fucking. If you have a Chromecast, Plex is fucking amazing. Yeah, I do have Elysium. I'm gonna watch that shit. I'm gonna watch it when I go to bed tonight.
So good, I love it.
Are we specifically talking about dystopians?
You cut out for me, man.
I would offer the movie Equilibrium with Christian Bale, Taye Diggs, Sean Bean.
All right, that one I don't have. I'll download it right now if it's available.
Yeah.
Like this.
Again, the whole thing about like a super policed, ultra controlled society. Just like no spoilers at all.
I'm
Just
gonna
watch the
download
movie.
Blade Runner.
Gung Fu, man, it was awesome. All right, good night, folks.
Good night.
Have a good one, dude. It was good having you on. Fuck, alright, Blade Runner.
Can't mention
Kick-ass torch, you
authoritarian
guys.
dystopias without mentioning V for Vendetta.
Oh, great movie. Holy shit, I love that movie. I don't know if I have
need
it
to watch it
downloaded on my
again.
file server.
Such a good film.
Let's check it out. Actually, fuck it, I'll just download it. I can
It's,
delete it.
I started out really hating that film, thinking it was really self-righteous, and then I don't know. It kind of grew on me, and now I quite like it.
Well, my favorite X-Men movie was X-Men Origins Wolverine. For some reason, I really liked
What my
it.
girlfriends have said.
Yeah,
have you seen the latest one, the whatever it is, Days of Future Past? Is it?
I haven't seen it yet.
It's
I haven't
Wait,
actually
Origins
seen
Wolverine.
the
I big fan of the X-Men movies. Really, like I didn't.
There's
I
so
haven't
much
bought into the whole superhero thing. Like we're getting so many superhero movies. You know, Marvel has that whole massive story arc going on, and then there's the Spider-Man things, which I think those are also Marvel, but they're disconnected.
Yeah, well,
I haven't bought into that, but I love the X-Men movies. I love the X-Men movies so
yeah,
much,
it's like
and I don't like.
different. It's basically a completely different world, essentially.
Yeah, it's good
The one,
stuff. And
the one with Magneto at the beginning getting revenge was pretty cool, but after that, it was
X-Men
like a
First Class.
letdown.
Yeah,
gotta say to my unashamedly horny perverted self, I didn't realize that Jennifer Lawrence was Mystique in the past X-Men movie. That wasn't Days of Future Past, was it? I think that was one
X-Men
before
First
that.
Class.
That was First Class.
First Class, yeah. I didn't realize that was Jennifer Lawrence until the fappening happened, and I downloaded one of those torrents, and there was pictures of Jennifer Lawrence in the Mystique outfit, and I'm like, holy shit, that's fucking Jennifer Lawrence.
Damn.
Yeah. You know what though? That was a good movie. I liked First Class, and I actually bought it. Was on sale at Walmart. I just found the DVD. I forgot that I bought it until earlier today.
I watched it on Netflix.
I bought Origins Wolverine, and I don't know if I've watched it yet.
That's my favorite. That's the one I was talking about.
Right
It has
on. Well,
Ryan Reynolds. It's like the first introduction of Deadpool. It has Wade Wilson, who plays.
Wait,
Ryan
what?
Reynolds.
Deadpool's in that?
Yes.
There's
No,
been
I didn't
Deadpool
know
in an actual
that.
movie?
Yeah, there's a Deadpool in the actual movie. It's like before he becomes like mutated and stuff, where he actually has like superpowers. But this is when he was still a mercenary, and like when he was working with Wolverine and what's his face, his brother, and a bunch of other people, and he has this whole big scene where he has his dual blades, and it's just like it's so awesome. And I didn't realize until I started getting into Deadpool that he was actually Deadpool in that movie, and it was like my favorite movie.
Right on. Have you guys seen the? There's Equilibrium. I see. A pseudonym posted a link to it before he left. Have you guys seen the Deadpool live action trailer or whatever the fuck it was?
Yeah,
Like the little
oh
thing.
my god, I love it so much.
No,
I'm
I
excited
didn't.
for that. I hope that gets made into an actual movie. Look it up.
No, it's actually confirmed to be a movie.
I will
But
look it up
it's
later.
PG-13, so they might like tone down like actually his like everything that he says because it can't be like super raunchy or super gory or whatever, because it's a Disney movie now.
Ooh.
So it's gonna be PG-13. So
One
you
can only hope there's going to be no musicals in this one.
less good. It's like it's gonna be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I would love to see Deadpool singing opera style. I think that would be quite interesting.
Deadpool rendition of "Would You Like to Build a Snowman?"
Would you like to make a shit post? Be the musical, guys. That is one final thing. We got like 3 minutes before I said I was going to end it, but fuck it, we'll just go to whenever. I am going to end it soon, though. V the musical is fucking amazing. You all should watch it. And GG the musical, that's something I put in the fucking thing earlier, which only half of you who are in this chat right now have probably got the link to. But in the notes, GG the musical, which is the 8chan Gamergate group, they have are making a collection of music videos, whatever, related to, I don't know, fucking Gamergate, whatever the fuck. Video
Is that
games.
the one where they did the skeletons video?
Skeletons video. I don't know which one you're talking about.
I think it was in relation to Mr. Bones' Wild Ride.
I have. Oh god, that probably exists. I don't really know the origin of Mr. Bones' Wild Ride or what's going on with that, and I really have been wanting to find out, but I haven't spent too much effort doing it.
I won't ruin it for you, but basically it was I think it was a 4chan post that somebody did of a ride they created in Roller Coaster Tycoon in which the actual track was the maximum length that any track could be, and it was like 17 days of real time for every one carriage to go round the entire track, and then when you got off at the end, the exit went straight back to the entrance. And the tagline was Mr. Bones' Wild Ride, the ride never stops, because it took such a long time to go around.
Right on, so that's where that comes from. But so I'm going to look into that. I'm going to see if there's a video of that or whatever. I'm going to probably do that not tonight. Hopefully someone will remind me on Facebook tomorrow or some shit. But V the Musical, you guys, is fucking awesome. V the Musical 2 has $10. The parody of Red Hot Chili Peppers. Fucking, I guess it's Can't Stop. Amazing fucking song. Has Nostalgia Goggles, which is good. Has Esports Wizard, which I'm a huge fan of because I like The Who. I'm telling you, y'all should check it out. I will probably put a link into it later.
Wait, I thought of another movie that you should watch.
Okay, what's that?
MacGruber.
MacGruber.
Yeah.
That's not the one with Mr. Bean, is it?
No, it's with Will Forte.
Well, if you want, it's a little late for Halloween, but if you want something that scared the shit out of me, was a VHS series. Did someone watch that?
VHS.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy stuff.
Yeah.
Cassie, how do you spell that? Whatever that movie was, because I can't find it here on Kick-Ass Torrent.
Let me type it in chat.
Does someone have a link to the chat? I don't think I'm in that chat.
It's the group chat. If you go in the Hangouts thing, you hit the blue button with the lines in it and the little conversation bubbles. That'll open the chat.
It's like an SNL skit.
MAC.
It used to be an SNL skit that Will Forte had, and it was spoofing
like so many
MacGyver, and then they made it into a movie.
Got it. I was missing the A. I had MC.
MacGruber.
MacGruber. Yeah, I got it. Alright, so I'm gonna download that shit. Hopefully it'll download soon. I'm still gonna watch, Elysium. I'm gonna watch that. Alright, well, fuck it. It's 12:30, you guys. I want to go fucking get more drunk and go to bed.
Yeah.
In Transit just rejoined. In Transit, there's 2 of you now. I don't know what happened there.
Oh my god.
That was my fault.
You have cloned, you have duplicated. I'm impressed by this. You are exercising clone privilege.
I'm so
Check your clone privilege.
That was my fault.
So, I don't know, I'm gonna wrap this up. You guys, I'm gonna give you all a chance to plug whatever the fuck you want to plug. If you have, I don't know, a YouTube channel or Twitter or Facebook or I don't know, anything that, even if it's not yours, that you want people to pay attention to, future viewers, any of our current viewers.
Can everyone put their Twitter handles in the chat?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, don't.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
use Twitter that often.
Yeah, that's okay. Twitter's.
I don't have tweet. I don't tweet.
Go ahead, In Transit.
Boo.
Boo. You know, I am kind of into Twitter now, but I hate every minute of it. Like it's the secondary way that I interact with Gamergate people and find out about new Gamergate stuff. But it's everyone's constantly yelling at each other, dude. It is the nature of it's a terrible medium for any sort of actual constructive discussion of fucking anything.
Of course.
But yeah, I am full on. I have my Twitter account. I have like fucking 25 followers or something at this point, which is
You're a sadomasochist, man.
I have 3 followers. I have three followers, and I only know 2 of them.
I'm gonna follow your ass right now. If I can
Okay,
open
good,
this.
because I don't post anything, so you'll be happy.
Yeah, well,
There is my if you type in YouTube Mojo Teatro, I will type this out. But I do remix of theme song for movies.
Right on.
If you want to check that out.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, I'll follow you. I'm a perfect Nurple on. I see you there, Mojo Teatro. I'm gonna follow y'all. If any of you guys don't know the name, well, I know that you guys don't know Cassie's thing because she didn't say it on the public chat and she didn't speak it out. But a perfect Nurple on Twitter is me. Fucking perfect NURPLE. I'm getting like I'm so I don't know, out of it, drunk, whatever. Mojo Teatro, I'm gonna follow you, Magic Bubblehead.
Yeah,
Right,
on YouTube. On YouTube. Because
okay, not on Twitter.
I don't have tweet. I don't tweet.
You should tweet, man. Join us.
Join the hashtag revolution, yo.
Well, I will do it, but with
one of
another account, you know, because I got other project like doing a satire of Anita Sarkeesian, you know, with a plain shirt, and I will find some giant ear loops to wear.
Hey,
wait, you really have this?
I made a Sarkeesian costume for Halloween. I have it on my Facebook.
Wait, really? I want to see that. I'm gonna check your Facebook guy. That sounds fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah,
I've seen a few people wearing them.
Because I bought these earrings at Goodwill, and they weren't really earrings. They're actually, bracelets. But then I use wire cutters and I clip them. And I stick them in my ears because I have gauges. So I just all right, YOLO, and then I use fake Photoshop to make my nose bigger.
So that's it. I will create a new account to make a satire because everybody need a laugh. And when it's scripted, I don't sound so rough in English. You know, I can actually
well, don't worry, I
sound pretty
don't speak
American.
good English either. Mm.
So it will be pretty good to see. Everybody needs a laugh sometime, and I think. Everybody demonize each other's in this, so just having a laugh would be good.
This us versus them mentality, man, is dangerous. This whole thing, it's on any real passionate movement.
Yeah, that's how they start a war anywhere on the planet, you know.
I think to an extent that there's so much hijacking of mainstream and even niche cultures like the internet culture, where you can't. There is no place that's safe from their sanitizing interference, and I think this us and them mentality springs up in response to that. Well, it's kind of like, well, no, this is just for us. This doesn't include you. You don't get a say in how this is run. This is the last line, if you like.
Yeah, it's a kind of.
I disagree with that because I think that everyone should be able to, we are an inclusive movement gamer. There is so much room in creative expression and entertainment, and even in video games specifically, there's so much room for fucking everyone who wants to put out some sort of art.
Well, yeah, because
we resent people. I'm sorry.
Discriminate against people for being a gamer, unlike social justice warriors. If you're a woman and you don't agree with something that they believe in, get the fuck out.
They should all agree, yeah.
But if you like casual gaming, okay, cool, you're a gamer if you want to be a gamer. Do you like PC? You're a gamer. Do you like Xbox? You're a gamer. It doesn't matter. You can play DS for all I give a shit. Like a full-time DS player, that's cool. You're a gamer. Who the fuck cares?
Absolutely.
But,
Absolutely. We don't want to be. we don't want to be called shitty things. You know, we don't want to be called fucking rapists and molesters and shit for just liking to play video games.
I think that the only thing that we have in common is that we all are gamers, and that in that way we are a collective of individual instead of a collective that try to be individualistic. You know.
We're the motherfucking hive mind, guys. We are a super organism.
Well, we don't need to
we'll
like go on a private email and like come together and talk about what we need to do next. We have it all out to the open in public, so if anyone in the opposition sees it, oh well, okay, this is what we're doing, this is what we're planning on doing. If you can stop us, go ahead. If you can't, fuck you. This is really, yeah, it's not gonna stop because we're gamers. We play
yeah, girl power.
Woo!
Woo, girl power! Even though I don't really give a shit.
Never gonna give you up. Alright, you guys. Well, it's 12:40 my time. I'm gonna go ahead and end this. I'm gonna stop the broadcast. I'll be on for a little bit after that. But to our viewers, to any future viewers, it's been a good stream. If you have actually managed to listen throughout the whole thing, you're fucking awesome. I don't know why you haven't chatted anything in the chat. But good stuff, and hopefully I hope I will remember to go back and annotate this stuff, because there's things that I wanted to add, little pop-ups for later on. I will try to remember that.
And if you have the attention span to do so. When
I'm sober, I do kind of have the attention span, and I participated in this entire conversation, so I kind of know to an extent what's coming, so I can skip around and it'll be all right. I'll figure it out. But all right, so I'm doing these every Saturday is a plan. Obviously, you guys are all. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you to Lisa and Felix and fucking Victor and everyone else who was left. Thank you guys for participating as well. Thank you to our viewers and any future viewers. These are going to be, if you're watching this and it's not November 1st, Saturday night, technically now November 2nd, Sunday morning for me at least, if you happen to be watching this on another Saturday night, around 9 p.m. Eastern, there's going to be another one of these streams, most likely, give or take, I don't know, maybe 8:30, maybe 9:30, maybe 10, who fucking knows. I'm going to be doing these every single Saturday. Anyone is welcome to join, literally fucking anyone who has some sort of honest opinion on this shit. I'm not going to tolerate people shitting things up, but I'm not going to ban you for an unpopular opinion as long as your opinion is heartfelt and honest and you're actually trying to have a discussion. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you guys for participating, all of you. This has been good. I hope you all will come back next week, and there may be more. This week I'm not going to do any in the middle of the week, but in future weeks there may be some more on Tuesdays and maybe Wednesdays. Y'all are awesome. Fucking video games are great. Gamergate's gonna win, guys. It really is. There's no, in my mind, there's no other possible conclusion to this. Even though we're being shit on by the mainstream media, which is still so weird to me that I'm saying mainstream media, because I used to look at like Tea Party people in America where they're like, oh, the mainstream media says this and this. I'm like, you're fucking crazy. There's no mainstream media. But there actually kind of is a sort of collective of mainstream journals. I'm getting off topic. Y'all say whatever, and then I'll end this in a minute. Anything?
I'm good.
Well, long live the new counterculture,
For sure. Long live the new counterculture. I think that's a good note to end on.
Gamergate.
Viva la Gamergate. Viva la Resistance. Alright, I'm ending now. Have a good one, guys.